As we all know, Shisui had hoped Itachi would change the clan and village's relations. But Itachi misunderstood his intentions, and ultimately annihilated the Uchiha clan. So, to change the Uchiha clan's tragic fate, I jumped straight into a toilet, and transmigrated into the Naruto world, becoming Shisui just as he jumped into the river. Right now, I scrambled out of the Naka River. Then, I took a deep breath, looked up and shouted, "Itachi, are you there?" But I got no response. But it makes sense, since Root hadn't obtained Shisui's left eye. They're out in full force. A cautious ninja like Itachi wouldn't put himself in unnecessary danger. Right after, I relied on my memories to return to the cliff, and use summoning jutsu to summon a crow. "Please, buddy, tell Itachi I'm still alive, and have him come here at once to back me up." Hearing this, the crow flew off immediately. However, right after the crow left, several Root members appeared. Hearing the noise, I feigned surprise. "To think you found me this fast," the leading Root member shouted. "Shisui, hand over your left eye. Do that, and I might give you a decent death." I looked towards the sound of his voice. Seeing this, the Root member was startled. "Where is your left eye?" I answered with a faint smile. "Take a guess," the Root member sneered. "Once we take you to Root's torture chamber, we'll have countless ways to make you spill the left eye's location." As soon as he finished speaking, the other Root members charged at me. I raised my hand and formed hand seals, Jinjutsu, bringer of darkness technique. The Root member's vision was instantly blinded by endless darkness. The leader immediately warned his subordinates, "Throw kunai at where he just stood." His proud phantom body flicker can't be used anymore. However, after the Root members threw their kunai, the expected scream never came. This left them greatly astonished. "We missed." "No, he dodged it." I looked at them and sneered inwardly. "Are you mistaken? It's true that Shisui just lost his sight, but before transmigrating, I was blind for 17 years. But ultimately, I was just one person. Having lost my Sharingan, there was no way I could fight a coordinated Root squad for long." Before long, Root gained the upper hand. At this moment, a Root ninja sneered, "Your struggle ends here. Spit out the location of your left eye, and we might just leave your corpse intact." Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. The moment I realized my left eye could be snatched by you at any time, I gave that eye to the third Hokage, Lord Hiruzen Sarutobi. If you want it that badly, then go ask the third Hokage for it. Though I just made this up to stall for time. After hearing these words, the Root members' expressions changed drastically. After all, in their eyes, Hiruzen wasn't just Danzo's good friend. He was also a political stumbling block. If I truly decided I'd rather die than give it to Danzo, I might have actually given it to the third Hokage. Right at that moment, I suddenly heard the caw of a crow. Itachi suddenly appeared before everyone, instantly killing all the Root members. He then came to my side. Shisui, hearing him, I hesitated and said, "Itachi, actually I." Itachi directly interrupted me. "Shisui, you don't need to explain anything to me. Nothing makes me happier than you being alive." Hearing this, I nodded at him. "Itachi, though you say I don't need to explain, there are some things I still must tell you, because this matter is very important. Understand?" Itachi pondered, then said, "All right, I'll listen to whatever you have to say. But before that, let's go somewhere first." This left me a bit confused. "Go where? To the Naka Shrine? I remember there's a meeting there tonight." Itachi just carried me on his back, and as he walked, he answered my question. "Yes, but we aren't going to the meeting. We're going near the shrine to wait for Izumi. We can talk about what you want to say on the way. I need to return your left eye to you, so we need Izumi's medical ninjutsu." As we all know, Izumi is Itachi's childhood sweetheart. But what few people know is that Izumi is the only Uchiha skilled in medical ninjutsu. Soon, we arrived in the forest near the Naka Shrine. I began explaining my thoughts to Itachi. "Itachi, I suddenly figured it out the moment I fell off the cliff. Rather than sacrificing either the clan or the village, we actually have a better way out." Hearing this, Itachi was a bit surprised. "What kind of way out?" I put on a very serious expression. "The entire Uchiha clan evacuates Konoha and finds a new place to settle elsewhere." Itachi pondered for a moment, then slowly said, "I've actually thought about this, but it would be incredibly difficult to execute. Right now, the Uchiha don't care about winning or losing, or even life and death. They care about their long-suppressed pride. For this pride, they are willing to burn everything down. And evacuating means defecting. In the eyes of our clansmen, this is no different from acting like stray dogs. They would rather stay and fight to the death than choose this path." After hearing this, I took a deep breath. For the clan's future, isn't that more important than a petty squabble over pride? The one who laughs last is the true winner. A temporary retreat paves the way for a future rise. Right, Itachi smiled bitterly. If only the clan could see such a simple truth. I raised an eyebrow at his words. None of that is an issue. We can figure something out. So you agree with my idea? Right, Itachi nodded firmly. If your plan works, Shisui, then I will fully support you. I nodded at him, lost in thought. Unless one's strength reaches the level of Madara and Hashirama, surviving in this ninja world requires relying on an organization. Therefore, I want to preserve the Uchiha's fighting force as much as possible, to serve as my own backup for future battles in the ninja world. Thinking of this, I asked Itachi, if Lord Fugaku takes the lead, can he persuade the clan to leave Konoha? Itachi smiled bitterly. With my father's influence, it might work, but the hard part is convincing him. As the clan head, he bears the clan's honor. He wants the Uchiha to rule over Konoha as Hokage. My expression darkened. Itachi, I don't know if I should say this. Itachi let out a long breath. Speak your mind, Shisui. I quietly shared my thoughts with him. I want to use Kotoa Matsuki on Lord Fugaku, but this time, it's not to stop the Uchiha's rebellion, but to make him lead the clan out of Konoha. I don't want to resort to this, but time is running out. I promise you, once the Uchiha are settled, I'll release the jutsu on Lord Fugaku and apologize to him in person. After I finished, I wasn't worried that Itachi would hold it against me. With his foresight, he wouldn't be bound by the present. As long as there's a sliver of hope, he would fully cooperate with me. Sure enough, Itachi's reply didn't disappoint. I understand. If you think this will save the clan, avoid a war with the village, and secure the Uchiha's future, then do it. I will support you unconditionally, Shisui. Just then, the meeting at Naka Shrine came to an end. Clan members began filing out. What is Itachi doing? Missing such an important meeting. Has he forgotten where he stands? He'd better have an explanation. Otherwise, the police force will arrest him. Itachi is one thing. He's always been a maverick. But even Shisui didn't show up this time. I have a bad feeling about this. As the clan members left, Izumi slowly walked out. Itachi immediately body flickered to her side and pulled her over to where I was. The moment Izumi was brought over, she saw my battered state. She couldn't help but gasp. Shisui, what happened to you? Itachi cut her off and took a vial containing my eye from his pocket. He handed it to her. We'll explain the details later. Izumi, please heal Shisui's eye first. Izumi took the vial. With a grave expression, she said, You've been hiding things from me. Itachi looked apologetic. I'm sorry, I just wanted to keep you out of this as much as possible. It's too dangerous. Izumi glared at him. I understand that, but you have to tell me everything later. I don't want you to bear this alone. With that, she implanted the eye for me and applied medical ninjutsu. Once my vision returned, I looked at them with gratitude. Thank you both. Then, Izumi crossed her arms demandingly. Now that the eye is fixed, shouldn't you to tell me what exactly happened? Itachi looked torn. Seeing this, I stepped forward. Let me explain. I then recounted everything that had happened recently. Izumi looked shocked after hearing it all. What, Danzo? He actually stole Shisui's eye. I couldn't help but sigh. Yes, and not only did he steal my eye, he plans to force Itachi to slaughter the Uchiha. Hearing this, Izumi looked at Itachi in panic. Is Shisui telling the truth? Itachi turned his head, avoiding her gaze. Although he said nothing, his attitude made it completely clear. Izumi knew Itachi very well. She knew he was a man whose vision transcended the clan. If the Uchiha's coup truly plunged Konoha into war, he would definitely strike. This broke Izumi's heart, not just because she couldn't share his pain, but because Itachi would actually do such a thing. Seeing this, I walked over to Izumi and patted her on the head. Don't worry, Izumi. I won't let that happen. That's why I came back. Izumi looked up at me. Really, Shisui? Can you really change all this? I answered her with absolute sincerity. Of course, I will change everything, as long as you and Itachi stand firmly by my side. Hearing my words, Izumi nodded eagerly. We will. Itachi and I will definitely stand with you. What can I do right now? I thought for a moment, and said, right now, the only thing you can do is to go home as if nothing happened. Keep tonight's events a secret from the clan. Okay, my words left Izumi stunned. Is that it? Is there nothing else I can do? I smiled at her. What you can do, ... is to watch over Itachi. That is the most important thing. Don't let him bear all this alone. Izumi nodded solemnly. I will. But no matter what you're planning, please be extra careful. Promise me, okay? I gave her my word. I will, I promise. Itachi and the Uchiha will be safe. Izumi breathed a sigh of relief. Do you have more to discuss? I'll head home first, then. Alright, let me know if you need anything. With that, she left. Itachi watched her go, feeling heavy-hearted. Seeing this, I patted his shoulder. Izumi is a good girl. You have better options. Danzo's path, besides pushing Sasuke into a spiral of revenge, won't change anything. Itachi turned his gaze to me. Shisui, what do you want me to do? I got straight to the point. Danzo still has my right eye. If he abuses Koto Amatsuki, the consequences will be unthinkable. So we must take it back. Itachi finally voiced a long-hidden doubt. I've never been able to figure it out. With your strength, how did Danzo manage to take your eye? My expression grew grave. I was careless. Danzo had the forbidden jutsu, Izanagi. Itachi was shocked. Izanagi? The legendary forbidden jutsu of the Uchiha? I couldn't help but sigh. Exactly. Even before he took my right eye, Danzo already possessed a Sharingan. He also has Hashirama cells. That gave him the means to cast Izanagi. Izanagi comes at the cost of one's vision? Thinking about it now, he was so desperate to eradicate the Uchiha, just to harvest our Sharingan, as spares to keep casting Izanagi. Itachi's expression darkened. After all, if I hadn't returned, he almost would have become an accomplice to his tyranny. I gave a bitter smile, because I didn't know he had Izanagi. I couldn't guard against his ambush in time. That's how I lost my right eye. Itachi patted my shoulder reassuringly. Who could have foreseen that? It's practically impossible to guard against. I pondered for a moment before speaking. Retrieving my eye successfully depends on striking before he can cast Izanagi. Once you return to the clan, forge my handwriting. To write a suicide note, publicly announce my death. Danzo must believe that I'm dead. Then, he will summon you and order you to massacre the Uchiha. That's our only chance to lure him out. You'll confront him from the front, while I ambush him from the shadows. The goal is to reclaim my right eye. And if possible, we'll kill Danzo and end this threat forever. Itachi hesitated. Killing Danzo meant breaking ties with Konoha. It would be hard for him to remain a Konoha shinobi. Seeing this, I sighed. I know this puts you in a tough spot. But if Danzo isn't eliminated, even if the Uchiha leave Konoha, the troubles will never end. Do you understand? Itachi felt conflicted. I understand, but Shisui, you seem different from before. I smiled at his words. After walking the line between life and death, and coming back again, I've gained a lot of clarity. Worldly bonds often hinder our path forward. When necessary, we must learn to let go. Itachi nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps that is what it means to be a shinobi. Then, I casually asked, by the way, Itachi, you've awakened your Mangekyo. Itachi proceeded to explain his visual prowess. I've unlocked its power. Amaterasu in my right eye, and Tsukuyomi in my left. Their abilities are. After listening to him, I pretended to suddenly realize something. I see. In that case, could you do me a favor? To be honest, when I fell off the cliff, my memories of ninjutsu have become hazy. The situation is urgent, so I can't afford to slowly recover. So, I'd like to use your Tsukuyomi to reinforce my ninjutsu. Itachi was somewhat surprised. I never thought Tsukuyomi could be used like that. I smiled meaningfully. I taught you this before. A jutsu's strength depends on its user. Believe me, whether it's Tsukuyomi or Amaterasu or Koto Amatsuki, as long as it's in our hands, there are many unexpected ways to use it. Please, Itachi, cast Tsukuyomi on me. Itachi pondered for a moment before saying, Shisui, how long do you need? Right now, I can only sustain 1 year in Tsukuyomi. That equals 1 second in the real world. But the world of Tsukuyomi is still a genjutsu. It might help you regain familiarity with your jutsu, but it won't increase your chakra. Plus, experiencing such a long time instantly will take a mental toll on you, so it can't be used continuously. I answered without hesitation. Then let's start with a year's worth. Hearing this, Itachi immediately cast Tsukuyomi. After I finished reinforcing my ninjutsu in the genjutsu, another very important matter suddenly came to mind. There was another ninja hiding in the shadows. He fled after I killed the others. I feared you'd be in danger if I chased him, so I let him go. If I remember correctly, his codename is Bing. If Bing reports to Danzo that I saved you, our plan for tomorrow will be in jeopardy. My expression darkened as I listened. Understood. Then let's use Bing to get close to Danzo. Let's split up, go back to the clan and prepare. I'll take care of Bing. Meanwhile, in the forest 10 miles from the Naka River, Bing was rushing back to Route. Thinking about what had just happened, he gritted his teeth in fury to forsake the village for Shisui. He even dared to kill our men. He'll definitely defect to the Uchiha. I must inform Lord Danzo and have Itachi and Shisui executed. Suddenly, a shuriken flew toward him. Bing knocked it away. Shisui Uchiha, why are you here? Where's Itachi? How is your left eye back? I couldn't help but sneer. I instantly killed him with Phantom Flicker Slash. You talk too much. Then, I took his blood and cast a secret jutsu, Blood Demon Disguise, transforming into Bing. On the other side, after Itachi returned, he forged a suicide note in my handwriting. When the suicide note was revealed the next day, it caused a massive uproar among the Uchiha, since Shisui and Itachi both missed the meeting. The Uchiha's suspicions naturally fell on Itachi, but no one else knew what had truly happened. To Itachi, this uproar meant nothing. After Danzo heard of my death, he eagerly arranged a meeting with Itachi. They met at a root temple deep in the mountains. Just like in the original story, Danzo ordered Itachi to annihilate the Uchiha. The time was set for tomorrow night. The condition was to spare only Sasuke. Originally, after an internal struggle, Itachi would painfully accept this mission. But things were different now. Facing Danzo's aggressive threats, Itachi boldly fired back. Lord Danzo, must the Uchiha be wiped out completely? Danzo sneered at his words. The Uchiha are a clan that chose depravity. They brought this fate upon themselves. Itachi relentlessly pressed on. Are you certain the Uchiha's downfall ... WASN single quotes T secretly fueled by you? These words made Danzo frown. What are you trying to say? Questioning me now won't save the Uchiha. They ruined the village's trust themselves. Itachi clenched his fists, forcing the Uchiha to the village outskirts, making us run the despised police force, and even planting spies within our clan, spreading rhetoric to hate the village, inciting the Uchiha toward rebellion. Wasn't this all you're doing? Furious, Danzo issued a final ultimatum. Either help Konoha wipe out the Uchiha, ... and save your younger brother, or die a gruesome death alongside them. Choose your path. Itachi instantly unleashed a great fireball jutsu at Danzo. I choose neither. Danzo reacted quickly and dodged it. He never expected Itachi to attack him. After all, for so long, when it came to keeping peace in the village, Itachi had always obeyed without question. Danzo questioned him coldly. Itachi, do you know what you're doing? Itachi replied with firm resolve, I do. So now, at this point, I will no longer hesitate. With that, he charged at Danzo. After exchanging a few blows, they drew the attention of nearby root members. They swarmed in from all sides, gathering around Danzo. This gave Danzo even more confidence. Did you really think you could defy me alone? Itachi instantly activated his Susanoo. I didn't come to fight unprepared. Seeing this, Danzo was secretly thrilled. Even during the Warring States period, only a rare few Uchiha possessed such power. This is the capital the Uchiha used to rival the Senjas would release. You truly surprise me. Itachi, to think you awakened this power. But this couldn't be better. Leave both your eyes to me as well. As his words fell, Danzo undid his bandages and commanded the surrounding root members. Hold off that Susanoo from me. I'll wait for a chance to use Koto Amatsuki. Hearing this, the root members rushed forward, but I remained standing by his side, not charging in with the others. Seeing this, Danzo angrily demanded, why aren't you attacking? I spoke in a deep voice, Lord Danzo, I have an urgent report for you, regarding Shisui's left eye. Hearing this, Danzo's eyes lit up immediately. Speak, he ordered. I feigned seriousness. Upon hearing of Shisui's death, I rushed to the Naka River to verify it. I successfully intercepted his body downstream, and thus, retrieved his left eye. Nearby, root members were slain by Itachi. But Danzo didn't care about them. Where is the left eye? I reached into my shirt, and took out a bottle containing a Sharingan. Your subordinate has brought it to you. Danzo lusted after my left eye so much, that he didn't even verify its authenticity. He reached straight for the porcelain bottle. However, this was the moment I was waiting for. I struck out with blinding speed, and gouged out his Koto Amatsuki, clutching his profusely bleeding right eye. Danzo howled in agony. My eye, my eye. At that moment, I dropped my disguise, drew my ninjato, and slashed at him. Every action has consequences. I'll be taking your life now. ... and your life. Danzo immediately used would release to escape. The remaining root members followed him. Only when they reached a safe place, ... did they finally stop. Lord Danzo. Danzo roared in fury. I have always been the one scheming against others. To think I'd be outsmarted so miserably today. After tonight, you'll have no place left in Konoha. Inform Hiruzen. Prepare for war. Meanwhile, not far from the root base, White Zetsu smiled playfully. Did they start fighting? It seems Itachi didn't act as you expected. Obito spoke in a deep voice. Shisui is still alive. he changed Itachi's intended course of action. It seems, the Uchiha's fate has reached a new turning point. White Zetsu tilted his head and asked, "Are you going to adjust the plan then?" After a moment of thought, Obito rejected the idea. "There's no need. The Uchiha massacre was just a sideshow in my plan. It just means fewer spare eyes, that's all." Black Zetsu raised an eyebrow at this, with both eyes using Kotoa Matsuki. Even Madara would be wary if he were alive, but Obito was somewhat dismissive. "Those eyes are indeed quite troublesome. But without Hashirama's cells, that light will only be a flash in the pan. It can never pierce the darkness I've woven." Black Zetsu shrugged. "That's true. The only ones in this world with Hashirama's cells. Besides us. Are Konoha. In the cell lab founded by the second Hokage. And Orochimaru. We must take precautions." Obito nodded thoughtfully. "Tell Pain. To keep a closer eye on Orochimaru. Don't let him contact Shisui in any way." Then, Obito used Kamui to warp himself away. White Zetsu watched, feeling confused. "Where is he going?" Black Zetsu chuckled. "He says he doesn't care, but his actions speak otherwise. I don't even need to guess. He's definitely heading to Konoha's sealed Hashirama cell lab." At this moment, I was carrying Itachi back to the compound. After all, he had just awakened his Mangekyo, and he suffered from a bloodline illness. Using Susanoo was still too taxing for him. Not to mention, yesterday, he had used a year's worth of Tsukuyomi on me. So when he was killing the root members, he quickly became exhausted. That's why I didn't pursue Danzo earlier. Itachi then apologized with self-blame. "Shisui, it's all my fault. You were so close to succeeding. If only I had been stronger." I comforted him. "Don't say that. We didn't fail. I've successfully taken back my right eye. As for Danzo, I guess his time hasn't come yet." Itachi couldn't help but sigh. Danzo must be furious out of shame. Next, he'll definitely present our crimes to the Hokage. When that happens, the village's move against the Uchiha will be moved up. I nodded firmly. "That's right. So we need to speed up our actions too. Once Izumi implants my right eye, I'll use Kotoa Matsuki on Lord Fugaku, and make him lead the clan out of Konoha." Soon, we arrived at the forest outside Naka Shrine. Izumi was already waiting there. After implanting my right eye, she immediately left the area. Itachi's expression grew heavy. "Shisui, there's something bothering me. Though I had a guess in mind, I didn't show it at all on the surface." "What is it?" I asked. Itachi said cryptically. "There's a masked man. He comes and goes through Konoha and the Uchiha unseen. Not even father noticed his presence. And he has a Mangekyo Sharingan that I harbors terrifying visual prowess. It's probably on par with your Kotoa Matsuki." I pretended to be surprised. "Is that really true? As for that masked man's identity, do you have any clues?" Itachi pondered for a moment before answering. "I have a vague guess about his identity, but I can't be completely sure. If my guess is right, then the fate of the Uchiha, Konoha, and even the ninja world will be full of variables, because that man's name alone, is enough to spark a war." I nodded at him. "I understand. It seems we'll face many challenges from now on. But don't worry, Itachi, as long as I'm still here, I won't let what you fear come to pass." Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, Danzo was slandering Itachi and me. "Hiruzen, this is the fine work of your trusted Itachi and Shisui. Not only did they openly attack me, they also killed my subordinates, and they threatened to drag you down from your position. For this, they drag all of Konoha's ninjas, and even innocent civilians down with them. The Uchiha have been possessed by demons. They're evil spirits capable of destroying the village. How long are you going to remain indecisive?" After hearing this, Hiruzen revealed a look of disbelief. "How is that possible? That's Shisui and Itachi. They value the peace of Konoha and the ninja world. Above the Uchiha's survival." Danzo sneered at this. "In the face of ironclad facts, you're actually still defending those two traitors?" Hiruzen looked at Danzo suspiciously. "Danzo, don't tell me you killed your own subordinates. Just to frame the Uchiha?" Danzo scoffed at this. "If you don't believe me, have someone inspect the bodies." Hearing this, Hiruzen's heart sank. Why did it come to this? Homura and Kaharu stepped forward, joining Danzo in pressuring him. "To think we trusted those two. Is this how they repay the village? There's no excusing this. Hiruzen, Fugaku must have ordered them to assassinate the village elders. Once we're out of the picture, they can do whatever they want. It's quite a calculated move. We cannot let them succeed. We must strike first, using all of Konoha's power, to eradicate the Uchiha." After a long silence, Hiruzen finally compromised. "Without Itachi's help, the Anbu alone cannot handle this. Kakashi. Kakashi, then in the Anbu, appeared before them. Lord Hokage. Hiruzen gave him a heavy order. Notify the clan heads. Assemble their elites. Initiate the purge of the Uchiha. Kakashi stood there, stunned. Seeing this, Hiruzen urged, "Go." Suppressing his grief, Kakashi accepted the order. He prayed silently in his heart. Asterisk Obito, if you're watching from above, asterisk. Asterisk please make your clan change their minds. Asterisk. Just as Kakashi left, another Anbu appeared before Hiruzen. Lord Hokage. The first Hokage's cell research lab ... was attacked by unknown shinobi. All existing cell samples were stolen. Hiruzen looked shocked. What did you say? In truth, upon hearing this news, the first person that came to Hiruzen's mind was Orochimaru. Danzo thought the same. He even found it strange. Why did Orochimaru act ... without informing me first? But for both Hiruzen and Danzo, they shared one consensus. The Uchiha were Konoha's top priority. Meanwhile, in the Uchiha compound, Fugaku had just left his house, heading for the Naka Shrine. He had decided to officially announce tonight the Uchiha's coup against Konoha. However, before he got far, he noticed he was being followed. Fugaku immediately slipped into an alley. Come out. Hearing this, I stepped out of the shadows. Seeing this, Fugaku looked shocked. Shisui, you're alive. I greeted him respectfully. Lord Fugaku, thank you for your concern. I am still alive. Hearing this, Fugaku suddenly realized something. Does Itachi know? I nodded at him. He knows, we've been together lately. Fugaku finally understood. I see. No wonder Itachi acted so strangely. Even when misunderstood by the clan and accused of your murder, he remained unfazed. So you to plan this. You must be plotting something in secret. Since you're showing yourself now, care to tell me the truth? I got straight to the point. Lord Fugaku, please lead the clan out of Konoha. We can build a new village. I've even thought of a name. The Hidden Light Village. If you are willing, you can be the first Hokage. Fugaku immediately rejected the idea. The Uchiha's roots are in Konoha, and Konoha owes the Uchiha Hokage. Without Konoha, ... without the title of Hokage, ... everything is meaningless. Do you understand, Shisui? Give up on these unrealistic fantasies. You are an Uchiha. Follow me, and fight for the Uchiha. That is your destiny. Hearing this, I showed a look of disappointment. What a pity. My roots are not in Konoha, nor do I care about being Hokage, nor am I truly part of the Uchiha. So I only fight for myself, and my destiny ... is mine to decide. But since you have no interest, I shall inherit the name of Light. With that, I used Koto Amatsuki on Fugaku. His mind and will were instantly altered. Then, Fugaku smoothly changed his tone. That is what I would say. ... But Shisui, you have a point. Compared to the clan's future, what do present gains and losses matter? The Uchiha's true value ... does not rely on the Hokage title. A hidden light village ... indeed suits the Uchiha stepping into the light. But the title of Hokage ... I cannot accept. I was slightly confused. Why, Lord Fugaku? As the clan head, you are the most suited for it. Fugaku patted my shoulder. I'm past my prime. I will only decline from here. But you are different. You and Itachi are the Uchiha's finest. You hold infinite potential. You are far more worthy of the Kage title. Shisui, the future of the clan ... rests on your shoulders. Now, as the head of the Uchiha, I must play my final part. With that said, he headed straight for the Naka Shrine. The effect of using Koto Amatsuki for the first time genuinely startled me. There was no sense of forceful domination. Everything felt completely natural. Even their inner emotions followed the caster's will, changing subtly over time. Right then, I suddenly realized something. For my left Koto Amatsuki to recover its visual prowess naturally, it would take decades. I raised a hand and rubbed my chin, muttering to myself, without Hashirama cells, Koto Amatsuki is basically a one-time use ability. Until I obtain Hashirama cells, I must save my right Koto Amatsuki as a last resort. Konoha once researched the first Hokage cells. Inside the lab, there should still be Hashirama cell samples. I looked toward the northwest of Konoha. Under the cover of night, I arrived near the test base's entrance, only to see Anbu transporting bodies. I couldn't help but frown. Did someone beat me to it? They moved fast. Obito doesn't just know I'm alive now. He even knows I interfered again, fearing my Koto Amatsuki as a threat. Is he trying to block my access to Hashirama cells? But he acted much faster than I expected. It seems, getting Hashirama cells will take more planning. I couldn't help but sigh, and began considering other ways to increase my strength. Just then, I suddenly remembered Konoha has a very famous scroll of seals. With that in mind, I headed straight to where the scroll was kept. But because of the attack on the Hashirama Cell Lab, guards were doubled at all of Konoha's strongholds, especially the building housing the scroll of seals. Most of them were only chunin. But to my surprise, Kakashi was among them. Kakashi stood there, looking heavy-hearted. Iruka walked over with concern. Kakashi-sensei, you should get something to eat. You haven't even had a sip of water. Kakashi shook his head. Lord Hawkage, COULD single quotes T-Bear to let me slaughter Obito's clan with my own hands. So he excused me from the mission. Iruka sighed. For things to escalate to this point, is something no one wanted to see. To be honest, I have a heavy heart as well. After all, there's a child in my class who is an Uchiha. Kakashi vaguely remembered. Sasuke Uchiha. Iruka nodded helplessly. Yeah, that genius Itachi's younger brother is also a genius. He probably won't be in class tomorrow. I really don't know how to tell the other students the truth about all this. I just hope Lord Hawkage, seeing that he's an innocent child, spares him from the massacre. Kakashi's eyes darkened. In a village filled with such deep blood feuds, living is a cruelty in itself. But for Sasuke Uchiha, death might actually be a release. Hearing this, Iruka's expression grew complicated. Kakashi-sensei ... Just then, I silently cast a Genjutsu, Temple of Nirvana technique. Countless dreamlike feathers drifted down from the sky. An irresistible drowsiness washed over Kakashi. Just as Kakashi was about to fall asleep, he suddenly realized something was wrong, and snapped awake. But he found Iruka and the others already collapsed on the ground. Unconscious, Kakashi assumed a defensive stance. Who's there? Seeing this, I stepped out of the shadows and used body flicker to appear beside him, knocking him out, as expected of Kakashi Haddock. But for now, please get some rest. I reached for Kakashi's left eye. I hate being out in the open while my enemy hides in the dark. If Obito is really around, then show yourself. Almost instantly, a figure stepped out of a vortex and swung a blade at me. I was prepared and dodged with body flicker, feigning shock as I asked, "Who are you?" Obito sneered at my words. "You don't need to know, because you're about to die." Seeing this, I charged at him with my blade, but it phased right through him. Obito's chains immediately wrapped around my waist. He then reached out toward me. That ended so easily. ... It was completely anticlimactic. Shisui of the body flicker. ... is no yellow flash after all. Seeing this, I smiled faintly, mimicking the lightning blade. I severed Obito's right arm. Obito's eyes were filled with deep disbelief. "You know the truth of my ability." I gave a non-committal response. Who knows? But maintaining calm judgment at all times is a basic requirement for a ninja. Did you think I'd be paralyzed by shock just because my attack phased through you? That is precisely your arrogance. Your arrogance gave me an opening. Obito scoffed coldly. Shisui, I admit I underestimated you. As he spoke, his gaze fell on Kakashi, and without hesitation, he gouged out Kakashi's left eye. Although he still had reservations about this eye, Obito knew very well that if it remained with Kakashi, it would eventually fall into my hands. In that case, he might as well take it back himself. I narrowed my eyes at the sight. How terrifying. Obito. To think losing an arm ... was all it took to sever your final bond. Obito glared coldly at Shisui. Consider tonight your victory. But this victory is insignificant. A pragmatist like you could never see that dreamlike world. One day, I will bring you there. Farewell for now. As his words faded, Kamui pulled him into its dimension. I couldn't help but sigh. So much for laying low and building my strength. I transmigrated at the wrong time. But Obito, to think you'd call me a pragmatist. But isn't chasing dreams just another form of it? This world you consider false. Isn't it just another kind of darkness? To me, only what I see is real. Nothing more. But you did leave me something good. I looked at the right arm Obito left behind. That arm belonged to White Zetsu, born from the Geto statue. It's an inferior version of Hashirama cells. I then took out a scroll and sealed the severed arm inside it. And as for the scroll of seals in the room, I memorized it all with my Sharingan. The next day, at the Uchiha compound, Sasuke was running home excitedly. I got first place in the Shuriken test today. I have to tell brother, mom, and dad. They'll be so happy. Suddenly, Itachi appeared before him. Sasuke immediately ran up to him. Wow, brother, how did you appear out of nowhere? Itachi just smiled and poked his forehead. Sasuke stepped back. What's with you today? Poking my forehead right away. This is where I'm going to wear ... my Konoha headband. Itachi smiled gently at him. Brother, I have something to tell you. You need to be prepared. Starting tomorrow, you won't be going to the academy. Meanwhile, ninjas from the major clans, the Hokage's direct Anbu, and Danzo's root, gathered outside the Uchiha compound. The major clans had received news of the Uchiha's coup tonight, and were utterly shocked. Former comrades were now about to clash in battle. Everyone wore a heavy expression. Nara clan head Shikaku demanded a reason, asking if there was any room for negotiation. But Danzo silenced him with a cold glare, forcing him to grit his teeth and drop it. As every second ticked by, everyone present fixed their gazes on Hiruzen. But Hiruzen just kept his head down and smoked, unable to make a final decision. Until Danzo finally urged, "Give the order. Desperate times call for desperate measures. It's time to cut out the tumor known as the Uchiha from the great tree of Konoha." These words finally made Hiruzen make up his mind. Do it. But when they entered the compound, they found it completely deserted. An Anbu explained, "The Uchiha clan gathers every night at the Naka Shrine to plot their coup." But upon arriving at the Naka Shrine, there was still no one in sight. A few hours earlier, Fugaku had convinced the stubborn pro-war faction and arranged for the clan to evacuate Konoha in batches. After the clan evacuated, he stood before the shrine's stone tablet. "If Shisui hadn't stopped me tonight, I plan to use the power of these eyes to manipulate the Nine Tails inside Naruto. The end result would be the Uchiha suffering a Pyrrhic victory to seize the Hokage title from Hiruzen Sarutobi. Tonight, in Shisui, I saw a bright future for the Uchiha. Even the mastermind who altered this stone tablet was crushed by his radiant visual prowess. Without a doubt, one day, he will surpass even Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Perhaps, that is the true reason I entrusted the Uchiha's future into his hands." Meanwhile, Hayashi activated his Byakugan and scanned the distant forest. Spotting Fugaku running, he focused his gaze on him. "It's Fugaku ... but wait ... There's an abnormal flow of chakra within him. What's going on? Is he trapped in a genjutsu?" He immediately chased after Fugaku. After all, he and Fugaku were personal friends. Hayashi couldn't just ignore him. Meanwhile, Danzo was furious upon hearing from the barrier team. "Impossible, those WARMONGERS ... How could they just yield like this? This is absolutely impossible. It must be a trap." Beside him, Hiruzen remained completely silent. Danzo shouted with a ferocious expression, "They couldn't have gone far. Pursue them at all costs. Wipe them all out." Hiruzen let out a helpless sigh. "Forget it. Let them go." Hearing this, Danzo shot Hiruzen a vicious glare. "Forget it. Are you kidding me? Do you realize the consequences of letting the Uchiha escape?" Hiruzen replied calmly, "I do. Now let me think for a moment. Until then, do not make any rash moves, Danzo." Danzo thought to himself, "That's no longer up to you." Hiruzen. Meanwhile, Hayashi had caught up to Fugaku. Fugaku had let himself be discovered on purpose. He wanted to buy time. For the rest of the clan to evacuate. He didn't expect Hayashi to be the only one to pursue him. Hayashi looked at Fugaku, his emotions complicated. "Fugaku, why did you do this?" Fugaku let out a sigh. "The village forced the Uchiha into a corner. We either clash head-on ... or retreat. There is no third option." Hayashi found this hard to believe. "Have you never considered a peaceful solution?" Fugaku smiled at him. "If a peaceful solution was possible, would I let my clan bear the infamy of rogue ninjas?" Hayashi was silent for a moment before speaking. "Are those your true thoughts?" Hearing this, Fugaku raised an eyebrow. "What else? Why do you ask?" Hayashi stared at Fugaku's brain with his Byakugan. "I see. Have you not realized it yourself? That you're under a genjutsu?" Fugaku was a bit surprised by this. "I'm under a genjutsu," Hayashi replied decisively. "Yes, my Byakugan sees it clearly. Your brain is being disturbed by an abnormal chakra. That is definitive proof you're under a genjutsu." Fugaku let out a long breath. The Byakugan, indeed. The Byakugan can see through chakra pathways. But there is another reason for the abnormal chakra you see. Hearing this, Hayashi was confused. "Another reason? What do you mean?" Fugaku replied calmly. "That is the yin release chakra unique to the Uchiha. It affects the cranial nerves and manifests in the eyes." But Hayashi did not believe him. "I've seen other members of your clan. They do not have the yin release chakra you speak of." Fugaku pondered briefly. "Is that so? Very well. There's nothing to hide at this point. After all, we go way back." Saying so, he activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. Seeing this, Hayashi was shocked. "Those eyes." Fugaku deactivated it and replied, "The Mangekyo Sharingan. I am different from the rest of my clan because I awakened these eyes. The abnormal chakra you saw is the very chakra that nurtured this Mangekyo Sharingan." If Hayashi didn't have such vast experience, he would have truly believed Fugaku's words. Hayashi took a deep breath. The Mangekyo Sharingan is one thing, but I believe there's another cause for the chakra in your brain. Fugaku, whether you believe me or not, for the sake of our years of friendship, come with me to see Lord Hawkage. To get to the bottom of this, I and the entire Hyuga clan will vouch for you. Fugaku shook his head at him. I trust you, and I believe the third Hawkage won't touch me. But I don't trust Danzo. Once I go back with you, he will do everything in his power to kill me. Then my clan will suffer as well. So forgive me, but I cannot go with you. This greatly surprised Hayashi. What a terrifying genjutsu. Is he really trapped this deeply? He is clearly under a genjutsu, yet his behavior and logic are completely coherent. Thinking of this, Hayashi took a fighting stance. If that's the case, Fugaku, even if I have to knock you out, I will take you back. With that, he charged forward. After a fierce battle, Hayashi fell to the ground. Looking at the unconscious Hayashi, Fugaku did not deliver a lethal blow. At this moment, a disturbance in the distance caught Fugaku's attention. He frowned at the sight. It's Root. Root probably covets not only the Sharingan, but the Byakugan as well. If Root found Hayashi lying here, it would bode ill for him. Fugaku immediately dashed out from the woods, deliberately exposing himself to Root's sight, then quickly darted in another direction. Seeing this, the Root members immediately changed direction and gave chase. Meanwhile, at the village's north gate, Itachi, carrying a sleeping Sasuke, arrived in front of me. I glanced at Sasuke on his back. Did you get him to settle down? Hearing this, Itachi smiled helplessly. No, I put him to sleep with Tsukuyomi for now. Otherwise, having him cry on my back wouldn't be a solution. I couldn't help but sigh. I suppose so. The young master of a prestigious clan, a little genius beloved by all, suddenly told his good days are over, and he has to become a rogue ninja. Oh, right. Sasuke isn't even a ninja yet. Itachi sat Sasuke down. Shisui, please look after Sasuke for me. I asked, though I already knew the answer. Why? Where are you going? Itachi hesitated for a moment, and replied, after thinking it over, if I don't see him before I leave, I won't be at ease. After all, Itachi had always been proud to be a Konoha ninja. Leaving without a word wasn't something he would do. I put Sasuke on my back. Go on, I'll see you at the Valley of the End. We can watch the sunrise there together. Itachi smiled at me. That sounds perfect. With that, he dashed toward the village. I looked deeply at Itachi's retreating figure. Actually, that sounds perfect to me too. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, Hiruzen was deep in frustration. At that moment, Itachi suddenly appeared before him. I have come to bid you farewell. I am deeply sorry. I failed to meet your expectations, and couldn't deliver a perfect answer for the village. Hiruzen pondered for a moment before speaking. Not at all. I'm just glad you came to see me. Was leaving the village Fugaku's own decision? To this, Itachi answered truthfully. Shisui used the Koto Amatsuki. Hearing this, Hiruzen froze. He still used that visual jutsu, but the outcome was different than expected. After all, Shisui had promised Hiruzen and Danzo that if things got out of control, he would use Koto Amatsuki to stop the coup. But in the end, it was used to facilitate the Uchiha's defection. Itachi then spoke a few words in his defense. This was a choice Shisui was forced to make. He originally wanted to use Koto Amatsuki to stop the coup, but ultimately, he realized the reality. There is no longer a place for the Uchiha to survive in Konoha. Even if the coup were stopped for now, history would inevitably repeat itself. Hiruzen didn't say a word. Instead, he expressed his stance through silence. Seeing this, Itachi took a deep breath. You must be wondering, why Shisui and I attacked Danzo? I can tell you the truth now. Danzo has been hiding, the fact that he stole Shisui's right eye. Hearing this, Hiruzen, was deeply shocked. Did that really happen? Itachi gave a firm nod. Yes, and Shisui's suicide at the Naka River was also real. Before he took his own life, Danzo and Root were plotting to take his left eye. It was because of these events, that Shisui truly lost faith in the village. If Koto Amatsuki were abused by Danzo, you know what the consequences would be. So, for both public and personal reasons, we had to take back that right eye. Even if, it gave Danzo an excuse to wipe out the Uchiha. These words made Hiruzen feel deeply guilty. To think that, as Hawkage, I was so completely blind to this. Itachi shook his head helplessly. You don't need to blame yourself. This is the culmination of historical conflicts. It wouldn't have changed based on anyone's will. Hearing this, Hiruzen, asked him, Itachi, do you think, the Uchiha will become a major threat in the future? To this, Itachi replied objectively, the pro-war faction will remain restless. We will do our best to ease their hostility. But my biggest concern is that Danzo will hunt down the Uchiha, because he is deeply reliant on the Uchiha's forbidden jutsu, Izanagi, so he needs a massive supply of Uchiha eyes, to sustain that immortal power. Our clan members will never endlessly tolerate Danzo's atrocities. But personally, I don't want to see the village and my clan go to war again. So I beg you to keep Lord Danzo in check, to ensure lasting peace for Konoha and the Uchiha. Saying this, he bowed respectfully. Hiruzen quickly waved his hands. Please, don't say that. This is not just your hope. It is my wish as well. Itachi stood up and said solemnly, there's one more thing. That I must tell you. For a long time now, a man wearing a mask, has been using space-time visual prowess, to slip in and out of the village undetected. I suspect his true identity. Is the Uchiha ancestor who lost to the first Hokage. At the Valley of the End. Madara Uchiha. This revelation startled Hiruzen. Then, Itachi bowed to him once more. From now on, I am no longer Itachi Uchiha of the Leaf. Thank you for looking after me all these years. Please, take care of yourself. With that, he left. After a long while, Hiruzen muttered to himself. Some people, even after leaving Konoha, still worrying about the village's safety. But others only wish for chaos, ignoring the bigger picture and their fellow shinobi. Danzo. You've disappointed me. Meanwhile, I was waiting with Sasuke at the Valley of the End. After quite a while, Itachi finally arrived, looking exhausted. Shisui, am I late? I smiled at him. Not at all. You're right on time. Let's go, Itachi. Let's regroup with the rest of the clan. However, when we brought Sasuke, to where the clan was gathered, we found not a trace of joy on their faces. It turned out something had gone wrong during the defection. The leader of the Uchiha hardliners, Uchiha Lang, held massive influence, over the younger generation. During the retreat, his resentment grew. Ignoring Fugaku's orders and the bigger picture, he decided to fight Konoha to the bitter end. Taking a large group of militant Uchiha with him, he launched a suicidal attack, only to be completely wiped out by Konoha's pursuers. Meanwhile, after escaping Root's pursuit, Fugaku met up with Makoto and Izumi. But Root mobilized an even stronger force to cover Makoto and Izumi's retreat. Fugaku stayed behind, and his fate is now unknown. Resolved to die alongside her husband, Makoto left everything in Izumi's care, then resolutely turned back. This series of tragedies dealt a heavy blow to the clan. Itachi choked back his emotions. Father. Mother. Beside him, Sasuke was terrified. What's going on? What do you mean, a coup? And what massacre? What happened to father and mother? Why did the village kill Lang and the others? Brother, why aren't you answering me? Brother. Just then, Uchiha Chen stepped forward and shoved Sasuke. Shut up, you brat. Listen to me. Konoha wants to wipe our clan out. Your father was going to lead us in a rebellion. To seize the title of Hokage. But he cared too much about whether you lived or died. In the end, he chose to lead us in defection. And look where that got us. If I had known, I would have stayed and fought those Konoha bastards. It'd be better than this pathetic retreat. He raised his hand, about to take his anger out on Sasuke. But Izumi stopped him. Stop it, Chen. Sasuke is innocent. Chen scoffed angrily. Ignorant, useless brats. Are the absolute worst. Sasuke looked at Itachi in disbelief. Is everything he said true? With a heavy expression, Itachi replied. I'm sorry, Sasuke. I couldn't bear to tell you the truth. But everything Chen said is true. This made Sasuke break down crying. How could this happen? Itachi swallowed his grief, trying to speak calmly to the clan. Now is not the time for grief. Instead of pitying ourselves and fighting, we must figure out how to clean up this mess. Izumi, did father say anything else before parting with you? Izumi took a deep breath. Lord Fugaku said if anything happened to him, Shisui should take charge. Hearing this, the clan members all looked at me. Chen couldn't help but question me. Shisui, it seems Lord Fugaku already knew you were alive. But I have to ask, where have you been all this time? And what were you doing? The other clan members chimed in. Shisui, you left behind that suspicious note. And now you appear before us with Itachi. You two are acting way too suspiciously. We thought Itachi murdered you, and even sought justice for you. But now it seems, you've intentionally hidden things from us. If you don't give us a reasonable explanation, we won't accept your leadership, even if you are the strongest in the clan. Second only to Lord Fugaku. No exceptions. The Uchiha will not bow to sheer force. I swept my gaze across the aggressive crowd, answering with a question of my own. You want to know what I've been doing? Fine, I'll tell you. I was carrying out a secret order from Lord Fugaku. I was to fake my death, hide in the shadows, and at the critical moment, assassinate the village elders. This shocked the clan members. Seeing this, I continued, Lord Fugaku had prepared to plans, coup d'etat or defection. I was his trump card for the coup. The village knows my strength, and would surely be on guard. If they thought I was dead, they'd lower their guard, allowing me to strike when they least expected it. Of course, to deceive the enemy, you must first deceive your allies. So Lord Fugaku, Itachi, and I put on a show for the clan. Itachi immediately realized I was improvising. To calm the clan down, I sighed as I spoke, but as you can all see, Lord Fugaku ultimately didn't put this plan into action. After all, Konoha's military and foundation are immense. Even if the assassination succeeded, and I took Hiru's and Saratobi's head, Konoha could quickly elect the next Hokage and stabilize the situation. Therefore, he chose a full retreat to preserve our strength for a future counterattack. Unfortunately, things went wrong. Due to a reckless, impulsive move, Lord Fugaku's plan was disrupted, leading to our current predicament. Shouldn't we all reflect on this? If you were in Lord Fugaku's position, could you have achieved a better outcome? At the very least, nearly half of us are still standing here alive. As long as we're alive, there is infinite hope, but only if we stand united. My words successfully moved the surviving clan members. They began apologizing to me. Sorry, we misunderstood you. Shisui, you are the clan's backbone now. Please tell us how to get through this crisis. Having cleared their suspicions, I began to lay out my strategy. First, the situation is against us, but we must not panic. Kikyo is on the Land of Fire's border. Since we hold the high ground, even Konoha's army will struggle to attack us. Second, the Land of Fire is still Konoha's territory. Staying too long will lead to trouble. We must find a way out quickly. Everyone knew very well that this way out was the Uchiha's next destination. Then, Chen was the first to speak. I suggest we defect to a major village that is hostile to Konoha. For example, the strongest military power today, Kumogakure. As soon as he said this, many Uchiha voiced their agreement. I agree, if we join Kumogakure, the Uchiha will be unstoppable. We won't have to worry about our revenge. But Itachi rejected Chen's proposal. I disagree with going to the Land of Lightning. Chen frowned at his words. Itachi, what do you think is wrong with this idea? Itachi explained logically. Defecting to a great ninja village might help us escape our predicament, but it would be built on mutual exploitation. We could never truly assimilate into Kumogakure, and they would never truly accept us outsiders. With Kumogakure's combat power, the Uchiha wouldn't be indispensable to them, but we would have to rely on them to survive. This unequal standing would strip us of all our initiative. In the end, our conflict with Konoha would just turn into a conflict with Kumogakure. For a moment, everyone was speechless. Chen's eyes widened. If we can't join a large village, are we supposed to join a minor one? Itachi shook his head. Even minor villages might not accept us. Hearing this, Chen gritted his teeth. Damn it, big villages won't work. Small villages won't work. Do the Uchiha have no way out? At this moment, I suddenly spoke up. Why don't we consider building our own village? Uchiha Kawa, known as a scholar, suddenly spoke up. Building a ninja village is no easy task. First, we must find a country willing to take us in, and we must bear the duty of protecting that country. And provide stable value. We can secure continuous funding for construction. But accepting us now means making an enemy of Konoha. Under these circumstances, which country would be willing to entrust us with such a burden? We can't just wipe out an existing shinobi village and take its place, right? I smiled and shook my head. Who says we have to destroy a village to build one? And who made the rule that a country can only have one? Chuan sighed upon hearing this. The one country, one village system that was established by the first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, and our ancestor, Uchiha Madara, when they ended the warring era. It's a consensus recognized across the world. I waved my hand at him. That is exactly why everyone's vision is limited. The reality is that many countries, especially the 5 great shinobi nations, enjoy the benefits of their shinobi villages, while fearing the threat of them becoming too powerful. So, they cut funding to reduce their numbers. If a country had 2 shinobi villages, it could increase its military power, while keeping the 2 villages in check, easing the ruler's concerns. My one country, 2 villages proposal is based precisely on exploiting the needs of the rulers. Listening to these words, Chuan's eyes lit up, but he still had concerns. Shisui, I admit your thinking is advanced and bold, but we can barely protect ourselves right now. Breaking the current system won't be easy. It wouldn't be a stretch to call it a pipe dream. Do you have any specific plans for this? After a moment of thought, I answered, we can absorb small villages in small countries. Note that I said absorb, not destroy. To make the absorbed villages more willing to accept this, we can publicly announce it as an alliance. As we continue to absorb them, we will snowball and grow stronger. Once we have enough power and influence, we will choose a major nation and propose this system to its rulers. Chuan nodded thoughtfully. Which major nation do you plan to choose? I gave him a slight smile. To be determined, we can pick any major nation, even the one beneath our feet. The Land of Fire. Chuan was completely won over. Shisui, I used to think you were just a genius ninja with exceptional ninjutsu and combat IQ. I never imagined you had such a brilliant political mind. If you had shown such talent while clan head Fugaku was in charge, our clan might not have ended up like this. I shook my head humbly. You flatter me. This plan is just a preliminary concept. The specifics will depend on the actual situation. Anyway, let's set up camp here on MT Kikyo for tonight. Night quickly fell. Itachi and I went to the woods outside the camp. Itachi looked up at the night sky. You're amazing, Shisui. You stabilized the situation so quickly. I sighed helplessly. Actually, building a new shinobi village isn't the most urgent task. Itachi, I know you're anxious. You just aren't saying it. But in reality, you're very worried about Lord Fugaku and Lady Makoto. Right, Itachi said apologetically. At such an important moment, I can't stay by your side. Do you blame me? I reached out and patted his shoulder. Of course not. You stayed with me through my hardest times. Now it's my turn to help you through yours. Once I issue orders to the clan tomorrow morning, we'll immediately set out to find Lord Fugaku. Itachi nodded at my words. All right? Thank you, Shisui. Then, I pulled out a map to absorb a minor shinobi village. Where do you think we should start? Itachi thought for a moment, then said to me, there's one detail I think you missed, Shisui. I just didn't want to say it in front of everyone. I was a bit surprised. What is it? Itachi said in a low voice. All shinobi love their countries, whether from a major village or a minor one. The prerequisite for absorbing them is ensuring that their homeland's interests aren't harmed by our takeover. If we can't guarantee this, there will be no shortage of shinobi who resist. I nodded thoughtfully. That really clears things up. How about this? We promise those we absorb that if their homeland goes to war, they can rush back to defend it at any time. And we will also send forces to assist them. That way, it becomes a win-win situation. What do you think? Itachi laughed after hearing this. As expected of you, Shisui, you came up with a comprehensive solution instantly. All right, let's do that. I gave him a meaningful look. Now can you tell me which country we're starting with? Itachi pointed to a territory on the map. I was a little confused. The Land of Waterfalls? Why? Itachi explained. Takigakure in the Land of Waterfalls is a minor village. It's the only minor village that possesses a tailed beast. It holds significant strategic value. If our first move is a successful absorption, the road ahead will be much smoother. But precisely because Takigakure is so special, it will also be a massive challenge for us. But I wasn't worried about that. Then tomorrow morning, we'll order the clan to head to the Land of Waterfalls. I will go with you to find Lord Fugaku and Lady Makoto. Once we find them, we'll rendezvous with the clan. The next day arrived in the blink of an eye. After ordering the clan to head to the Land of Waterfalls, I followed Itachi toward Konoha. Before leaving, Itachi also left a shadow clone behind to keep watch. If Fugaku arrives safely, the shadow clone will dispel. Itachi will know immediately and adjust his plans. At this time, Itachi and I had just reached the forest outside the village. Itachi pondered for a moment before saying, I revealed Danzo's ambitions to the third Hokage. He promised to keep Danzo in check. Their Sharingan shouldn't fall into Danzo's hands. At least, not anytime soon. Hearing this, I shrug. Not anytime soon? It's true that man has been indecisive most of his life. I doubt he'll suddenly toughen up now. In his early years, he even suffered assassination attempts by Danzo. If it were anyone else, they would have removed Danzo from power long ago. Hearing this, Itachi also felt a bit helpless. The third knows his own shortcomings. He can't do without Danzo's iron-fisted methods. That's what I'm worried about. One day, the great tree of Konoha will be corrupted by its dark root. It will never bask in the sunlight again. After hearing this, I sneered. Then let's end this threat once and for all. Whether it's finding Lord Fugaku, or for the sake of the future, there is nothing more simple and effective than finding Danzo. Once we find him, there's no reason to let him go. Itachi didn't answer me. He simply responded to his emotions and activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. The Sharingan is the eye that reflects the heart, especially when killing intent arises. It surfaces involuntarily. Just then, the sound of an explosion came from nearby. Itachi and I exchanged a knowing glance and sped toward the commotion. We stopped in the treetops to observe. Two groups were locked in a standoff. Both wore Anbu uniforms. Seeing this, I raised an eyebrow. Itachi, what do you think? Itachi thought for a moment. I don't know the details, but it seems to be a clash between Anbu and Root. Below, Yugao supported Hayate and questioned the Root members to actually try and kill your own comrades. Is this how Root operates? The Root captain sneered. Those who hinder Root's interests, even comrades, must be killed. Saying so, he prepared to attack them. Seeing this, Hayate quickly told Yugao, "Yugao, leave me. Get out of here." Yugao frowned. Are you kidding? How could I leave you behind to save myself? If we leave together. If we die together. At that moment, several other Root members surrounded them. The Root captain said coldly, "Keep her alive. That woman knows Fugaku's whereabouts." Hearing this, Itachi was about to jump in and save them, but I stopped him. "Your shadow clone has split your chakra. Let me handle this." With that, I used body flicker and appeared before them. The Root captain was shocked. "Uchiha Shisui, why are you here?" Hearing this, Yugao immediately drew her blade to attack me. Itachi flickered to her side, pressing a kunai to her throat. "Don't move." Immediately after, I killed all the Root members except the captain, and cast a genjutsu on him. Through the telepathic connection, the Root captain's memories were projected directly into my mind as images. At the gates of Konoha, dozens of Uchiha youths led by Lang stood facing the Konoha ninja. Sarutobi, holding his adamantine staff, asked Lang why he returned. Lang answered resolutely, "To let you witness the pride of us Uchiha." Hearing this, the Konoha ninja, except Danzo, were speechless. Sarutobi couldn't help but sigh. An hour ago, Itachi came to me, hoping both sides could coexist peacefully. I agreed. Do you want to let Itachi's efforts go to waste? The Uchiha behind Lang were visibly surprised. What? Itachi went to the Hokage. Seeing this, Lang quickly shouted, "Enough! Stop your hypocritical act. You forced the Uchiha into a corner with your own hands. At this point, who needs your charity of peace? Whatever Itachi did is his own business. But Itachi doesn't represent the entire clan. At the very least, he doesn't represent me. Uchiha Lang, behind me, are Uchiha who have inherited Lang's will. They are brave men fighting to the death. There are no cowards here. They are all true heroes." These words united the wavering clan members in righteous anger. "Well said, Lord Lang." Danzo walked up to Sarutobi and fanned the flames. "See, Hiruzen, you want to win them over with virtue, but they don't appreciate it. Why not just indulge their arrogance?" But Sarutobi still tried to salvage the situation. "Only for tonight. Lang, just go." Hearing this, Lang sneered. "Shut up, hypocrite. There's no turning back now. The Uchiha do not fear death. We only fear living a cowardly life. My brethren, ignite the smoke of revenge. Even if we die, we'll die in a blaze of glory." But unfortunately, with just them, they couldn't resist the might of so many Konoha shinobi. Before his death, Lang suddenly burst out laughing. He calmly accepted the arrival of death. "Sarutobi Hiruzen, you are unworthy of the Hokage title. The only one truly worthy of being Hokage is our clan's genius who died too young, Uchiha Shisui." The memory ended there, because the Root captain couldn't withstand the mental shock and died. I sighed with a hint of melancholy. I underestimated this Lang. If I had known earlier, I would have acted differently that night. I walked up to Yugao. "You know Lord Fugaku's whereabouts?" Yugao looked at me warily. "Uchiha Shisui, shouldn't you be dead?" I gave a meaningful reply. "In your script, I am indeed dead, but the scriptwriter has changed." Itachi immediately explained. "Lady Yugao, please don't misunderstand. We have no intention of attacking you or Hayate. Before leaving the village last night, I spoke with Lord Hokage. We agreed to coexist peacefully from now on. The recent attack on the village was unexpected for both sides." Yugao was stunned. She remembered Lord Third personally admitting he had reached an agreement with Itachi. Itachi then continued, "We just want to know my father's whereabouts. Unless necessary, we won't attack our former comrades. But if Root threatens my father's life, that's a different story." Yugao remained silent before answering. "Actually, after last night's battle, Fugaku, who was in hiding, was discovered by the Hyuga clan's Byakugan. Danzo immediately ordered Root to hunt him down. But in front of so many shinobi, Lord Hokage couldn't openly oppose Danzo. So he sent Hayate and me, along with a few Anbu squads, to intervene and help Fugaku escape Root. The result is what you see. Root attacked us instead, and then we ran into you. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Itachi retracted his hand after listening. Lady Yugao, can you tell me where my father is? Yugao couldn't help but sigh. Your father killed several waves of root pursuers until he encountered Aburame Ryoma. He could have defeated Ryoma, but your mother was compromised. She stabbed your father in the back. Itachi took a deep breath. How do you know this? As Yugao hesitated to answer, Hayate, whom she was supporting, spoke up. I saw it. I possess the transparent release Keki Genkai. It allows me to conceal my body. I watched it happen from the shadows, but I couldn't stop it. Ryoma's venomous insects are too dangerous. Just getting close is a fatal risk. Yugao and I had to regroup with our comrades before deciding our next move. Itachi then asked him, where did my father and Ryoma fight? Hayate thought for a moment and replied, in a valley south of this fire forest, a fortress known as the Southern Valley. Itachi nodded at him. We must not delay. We have to head to the Southern Valley immediately. Thank you both for the information. Since you have such vital intelligence, please return to the village and report back. We then rushed toward the Southern Valley at full speed. I asked Itachi in confusion, who is Ryoma? Why did you react so strongly? Upon hearing his name, Itachi replied with a complex expression. Ryoma is a freak of the Aburame clan. He once served en route alongside Orochimaru. After Orochimaru left, Ryoma became Danzo's most capable agent. He modified Aburame Shikuro's nano-sized venomous insects to create hunger bugs. Hunger bugs parasitize the brain undetected and manipulate the victim's mind. In a way, they're similar to your Kotoa Matsuki. My mother was likely controlled by them when she attacked my father. Not long after, we found where Fugaku and Ryoma had fought. Itachi looked at the blood on the ground and took a deep breath. Judging by how dry the blood is, the battle happened 14 hours ago. I nodded in agreement. Around the time we left MT Kikyo, I immediately activated my Sharingan and looked around. Soon, I found bloody footprints nearby. I frowned at the sight. A shinobi always erases their tracks, no matter what. That's basic genin knowledge. Whoever left these must be severely injured. Unable to mind such details, Itachi clenched his fists. It's my father carrying my mother. His weight alone wouldn't leave such deep prints, unless he was carrying someone else. I patted his shoulder. Let's follow them. Maybe we can find where they went. We followed the footprints to a cliff. Below the cliff was the Fushi River, crossing the southeast of the Fire Country, also known as the Sino Kawara. Though named Undying, it has buried countless souls, both civilians and shinobi alike. This discovery made Itachi's heart sink. Fugaku, severely injured and carrying Makoto, while being hunted by Ryoma. The chances of surviving a fall into the Fushi River were slim. Then, I noticed a pool of dark blood nearby. Itachi, look! Besides Lord Fugaku, someone else was here. Do you know who? Itachi saw this, and immediately realized. Aburame Ryoma. He hosts venomous insects in his body, so his blood is dark. I smiled and nodded. This pool of blood was formed by accumulated drops. It shows Ryoma chased Lord Fugaku to this cliff, and stood here watching for a long time. He ultimately lacked the courage to jump. Also, the fact that Lord Fugaku made it here proves his eyes weren't taken. At least, not both of them. After all, he's a man who survived the Battle of MT Kikyo. I believe he won't die so easily. Hearing this, Itachi finally breathed a sigh of relief. At that moment, I plucked blades of grass stained with the blood of Fugaku and Ryoma. Seeing this, Itachi was a little confused. Shisui, what are you planning? I spoke in a deep voice. Itachi, at this point, I should probably tell you. Before leaving Konoha, I visited the ninja archives where the secret scrolls are hidden, and I copied the scroll of seals with my Sharingan. Originally, I thought of using it in a special scenario, to leak it to Konoha's enemies, as a threat, a bargaining chip to force the village not to attack us. I didn't expect we'd actually have a day to use it. Itachi nodded thoughtfully. Use it, Shisui. Are you referring to the Ito Tensei? I waved my hand at him. Ito Tensei requires a living sacrifice. Itachi, you surely wouldn't want to confirm your father's fate by sacrificing another person, even if that person was a member of Root, right? Itachi nodded at me. He knew me well. I smiled slightly at his response. Besides, I don't think Lord Fugaku is dead. The jutsu I meant isn't Ito Tensei, but another jutsu called Yingu. It was invented by the second Hokage, a tracking jutsu that only requires a single drop of blood. Hearing this, Itachi's eyes widened. You mean ... I looked at the grass in my hand. That's right, we'll use Yingu to find your father. But I only copied the contents of the scroll of seals. I haven't truly mastered it. Therefore, I need you to do something for me. Itachi thought for a moment, and understood. You plan to use Tsukuyomi like last time. Right, I put on a serious expression. Yes, we will likely face many difficulties ahead. So I intend to fully master the Scroll of Seals. Itachi thought about it, and said to me with some hesitation, since the awakening of my Susanoo, my visual prowess has improved again. My current limit for Tsukuyomi is 2 years. This might cause a massive shock to your mind. It doesn't matter. I nodded with a smile. It's fine, bring it on. Hearing this, Itachi immediately cast Tsukuyomi on me. 10 minutes later, I was carrying an exhausted Itachi and said to him somewhat helplessly, "You told me it might cause a mental shock, but in the end, you're the one who collapsed. Itachi, what am I going to do with you?" Itachi replied with a pale face, "I can't help it. My body isn't as robust as yours. I often get a premonition that maybe one day I'll fall seriously ill and die prematurely." I said to him with utmost firmness, "Itachi, don't worry, that day won't come. Even if it does, I will find a way to cure you." Hearing this, Itachi couldn't help but smile. "Then please make sure to cure me." Leaving the entire burden of the Uchiha to Shisui, I wouldn't be able to rest easy. But if, unfortunately, my words come true, please promise me one thing, Shisui. I asked curiously, "What is it?" Itachi was silent for a moment before speaking. "I'll tell you when the time comes." But I said to him meaningfully, "I think that probably won't happen." Then, I set Itachi down and found an insect. Yingu also requires a living sacrifice, but the sacrifice isn't human. It's insects. It doesn't specify the type of insect. Any bug will do. Then, I placed the grass next to the bug and cast the secret goo tracking jutsu. Soon, the blood on the grass was absorbed by the bug. I picked up the bug, walked up to Itachi ... and handed him the goo to swallow. This way, no matter how far the distance, you'll be able to sense Lord Fugaku's location. Hearing this, Itachi swallowed the bug directly. The next second, he felt a sense of being pulled. To this, Itachi couldn't help but marvel. It's truly incredible. The second Hokage really was a jutsu genius, in every sense of the word. Then, I caught another bug, repeated the steps, and braced myself to swallow it. Seeing this, Itachi asked, "That's Ryoma's blood, right?" I nodded with a solemn expression. I must find Ryoma and confirm whether he took anything from Lord Fugaku. If he really did, I'll retrieve it and return it to Lord Fugaku. So Itachi, once you've rested, let's split up. After it's done, I will rendezvous with you immediately. Meanwhile, in a hospital room in Konoha, Hiruzen took time out of his busy schedule to visit. "How are you feeling?" Kakashi replied with some self-blame. "I'm sorry. At the critical moment of the standoff with the Uchiha, I made such a fool of myself. I was of no help at all." Hiruzen couldn't help but sigh. "The Scroll of Seals is still in the ninja archives. It seems the enemy was only after your left eye." Kakashi touched the bandages over his left eye, feeling a bit lost. "But I really can't remember. Who attacked me?" Hiruzen replied with a heavy expression. "It was Orochimaru." These words left Kakashi in deep shock. Hiruzen continued. "Orochimaru visited the archives years ago. He had already dabbled in the Scroll of Seals. There was no need for him to go out of his way for it. Before your incident, the village's underground Hashirama Cell Lab ... was attacked. Shortly after, your Sharingan was stolen. This perfectly matches Orochimaru's motives. He showed an unnatural obsession with the first Hokage's cells and the Uchiha Sharingan a long time ago." Kakashi fell into a deep silence. Actually, he felt somewhat relieved. Although he had lost his friend's eye, he could also be freed from its burden. Just then, Hiruzen brought out a container holding a Sharingan. Kakashi was confused by this. "What is this?" Hiruzen looked at him seriously. "The left eye of Uchiha Lang, the instigator of last night's rebellion. I originally didn't want to do this, but Konoha has lost the Uchiha, and in last night's front gate battle, we lost many Jonin. Our forces are weaker than ever. At the very least, we can't let the Sharingan fade into obscurity. Kakashi, for the sake of the village, are you willing to accept this eye transplant?" Kakashi's mind went entirely blank. After a long moment, he accepted reality. "If it's to protect the village, I accept." Time fast-forwarded to the morgue that night. Danzo looked at the surrounding Uchiha corpses and quickly searched among them. He needed to secure his most desired eyes first, before collecting all the others. Soon, he found Lang's corpse, only to find his left eye missing. Just then, Hiruzen arrived with Yugao and Hayate, along with several Anbu members. "Danzo, I knew you'd come. Are you here for the Sharingan?" Caught red-handed, Danzo used his prepared excuse. "Rather than letting these Sharingan go to waste, I thought to use them to bolster Root's forces." Hiruzen questioned him. "Did you plan to give every Root member a Sharingan?" Danzo answered righteously. "The village's forces are severely depleted. I am only doing this for the greater good. Hiruzen shook his head in disappointment. Danzo, even now, do you still intend to make excuses? Izanagi, you've meddled with this forbidden jutsu. Danzo decisively played dumb. I know nothing about any Izanagi. Hiruzen glared at him furiously. Stop pretending. Itachi told me everything. You set a trap using Izanagi and stole Shisui's right eye. That's why Shisui was forced to attack you with Itachi. You wanted to wipe out the entire Uchiha clan to feed your greed for Izanagi. Danzo clenched his fists in silence. Hiruzen continued to press him. And regarding Tatsuma, don't you owe me an explanation? To obtain Fugaku's eyes, you didn't hesitate to release such a dangerous man from the Konoha prison. What's worse, to cover up this fact, you even ordered your men to silence Yugao and Hayate. Danzo's gloomy gaze swept across Yugao and Hayate's masks. Hiruzen was determined to teach Danzo a harsh lesson. Danzo, I can no longer ignore the atrocities you've committed. Tonight, I am stripping you of your position and arresting you. Danzo glanced at Lang's corpse. Hiruzen, I have something to say to you. Hiruzen said expressionlessly. Speak, but no matter what you say, it won't change my decision. Danzo smiled at him. It would be best if your guard stepped outside. After a moment of thought, Hiruzen raised his hand and dismissed the Anbu. Danzo spread his hands. Hiruzen, you keep condemning my wrongdoings, but we are cut from the same cloth. When the bodies were collected last night, I saw it clearly. His eyes were perfectly intact. Yet now, his left eye is missing. Can you tell me where it went? Hearing this, Hiruzen fell silent. But Danzo didn't plan to let him off. This seems to contradict your so-called righteous path. If word gets out, your reputation up to now would be ruined. What will a man who values his reputation do? Hiruzen sighed. What do you want? Danzo gave him a meaningful look. We are both acting for the village's sake. How about we each take a step back? As for the whereabouts of Lang's left eye, I won't look into it, nor will I speak of it. In exchange, I will decide what happens to his right eye, he said, gouging out Lang's right eye. But Hiruzen had no reason to stop him. Danzo smiled at him. As for the other Uchiha eyes, I'll leave them to you, so I don't get accused of coveting forbidden jutsu. He thought to himself, with your style, you'll have the Anbu dispose of these corpses overnight. I've already made arrangements for that. These eyes will still end up in my hands. Hiruzen, the more you feign toughness, the more you reveal your inherent weakness. Only I can change Konoha. Only I can change the ninja world. Having said that, Danzo left. As Danzo expected, the Anbu transported all the Uchiha corpses, including Lang's, to the mountains behind Konoha. However, those Anbu suddenly gouged out all the Uchiha eyes. Just then, Tatsuma appeared before them. The Anbu stepped forward to present the eyes. Lord Tatsuma, all the Sharingan have been accounted for. Tatsuma ordered the Anbu he was controlling. Dispose of the bodies cleanly. Return and report as usual. At this moment, a crow pecked a piece of flesh from Lang's corpse and brought it to my hand. I sneered as I looked at Tatsuma in the distance. Tatsuma Aburame, tonight you die. Tatsuma took out a jar of ice from his pocket. During the bloody battle at the Southern Valley, he had stolen Fugaku's left eye, but he didn't plan to report it to Danzo. Then, he sealed all the Sharingan into a scroll. Looking at the scroll in his hand, Tatsuma muttered, Danzo, you want to squeeze out my remaining value, then toss me aside. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, because the toxicity of the starvation insects caused Ryoma to contract sepsis. This is an incurable disease in the ninja world. Only a specific drug developed by Orochimaru can prolong Ryoma's life. In the original story, Ryoma died from sepsis in Konoha's prison, so he only appeared in Kabuto's memories, achieving absolutely nothing. Then, I appeared before Ryoma. He was shocked to see me. Uchiha Shisui. I stared at him intently. Ryoma, I hear you're quite strong. On par with the Sannin, Orochimaru. Ryoma waved his hand humbly. I wouldn't dare claim that before Shisui of the Body Flicker. Even the Sannin wouldn't act rashly before you. I activated my Sharingan and scanned the surroundings. Those faint blue spakes are the so-called starvation insects, right? Before we split up earlier, Itachi had solemnly warned me. Shisui, I trust in your strength, but Ryoma is an exception. Those insects are the natural enemy of all flesh and blood. If you don't understand his abilities, even the strongest could fall victim. Aburame Ryoma, just like Aburame Shikuro, can control nano-sized venomous insects. But he has surpassed Shikuro. He doesn't even need physical contact. He can release the venomous insects directly, spreading them through the air. Breathing within Ryoma's insect swarm is equal to suicide. I thought for a moment before asking, would holding my breath for a quick victory work? Itachi shook his head. No, the starvation insects can even seep through your pores. Once inside, they travel through the bloodstream and parasitize the brain. Unless you've injected the anti-venom developed for these insects, but only the Hokage and Danzo have received it. Without the anti-venom, the only way to defeat Ryoma is to stay out of his swarm's range and kill him with ultra-long range attacks. Or, I quickly asked, or what? Itachi pondered for a moment before answering. From parasitizing the body to controlling the brain takes about 3 seconds. Their greatest weakness is that they die the moment their host dies. If you can kill him in one blow, within the 3 seconds of infection, you can escape being controlled. I said with a cold expression, hand over Fugaku's eyes, and the eyes you just took from my clansman, and we'll go our separate ways. Ryoma found this amusing. That's no different from asking for my life. I might as well kill myself. That would be more direct. I scoffed at his words. Very well, please end yourself then. Ryoma burst into laughter. You're quite the joker, Shisui. Through Itachi, you should know all about my abilities. And through Danzo, I know your abilities like the back of my hand. Perhaps we are each other's natural enemies. So one of us will inevitably fall forever today, or become the other's slave. I had no intention of continuing this nonsense. I instantly activated Susanoo and beheaded him with a single strike. While deactivating Susanoo, I spat out Genkitsu and retrieved the scroll from Ryoma's chest. Meanwhile, Itachi was sprinting downstream along the Fushigawa River. I used the Flying Thunder God to appear beside him. I've retrieved Lord Fugaku's eyes. Itachi nodded to me. According to Genkitsu's sensory perception, my father's chakra has suddenly stopped moving. I'm a bit worried. I thought for a moment and replied, Genkitsu only tracks the living. As long as the signal hasn't vanished, Lord Fugaku's life isn't in danger. At the same time, in an underground chamber, Obito attached a brand new White Zetsu arm to his severed shoulder. Just then, Zetsu emerged from the wall. White Zetsu smiled playfully. My clone down at the Fushigawa River spotted some incredible guys. Guess who? Obito turned his head impatiently. Black Zetsu raised an eyebrow. He's in a bad mood. Stop beating around the bush. White Zetsu shrugged. Alright, it's the culprits who made Obito furious. Shisui and his little follower, Itachi, to walking Mangekyous. They're heading hand in hand towards Sino Kawara. Hearing this, Obito's expression darkened. The Sino Kawara Shrine, Akatsuki's current gathering place. Did you confirm their objective? White Zetsu shook his head. Those two are too dangerous. My clones didn't dare get too close. But do you think they're going to join Akatsuki? Obito rejected the idea without a second thought. Impossible. They probably know Orochimaru is at the shrine. I didn't expect them to arrive so quickly. Shisui, is he really that desperate for Hashirama's cells? White Zetsu said optimistically. What's there to fear? Pain and Akatsuki's main forces are there. Those two can't possibly turn the world upside down. Obito spoke in a deep voice. We can't be careless. Those two are very dangerous, especially Shisui. There's something eerie about him. Black Zetsu asked tentatively. Didn't you take your left eye back from Kakashi? With the power of both eyes combined, just finish him off. Obito's expression turned grim. That filthy eye. I don't even want to touch it. If I wasn't worried about it falling into Shisui's hands, if he ruins my plans, I'll just leave him in that trash can named Kakashi to rot away completely. Black Zetsu sighed helplessly. This makes things tricky. Obito picked up the swirl mask from the table. Tricky or not, it can be handled. If we can't solve the problem, we eliminate the one causing it. Black Zetsu looked at him thoughtfully. You mean? Obito chuckled coldly. Order Pain to execute Orochimaru. White Zetsu looked troubled. He might be unruly, but executing him for no reason won't fly. A flash of killing intent crossed Obito's eyes. I don't care. I must eliminate any chance of Shisui obtaining Hashirama cells. Meanwhile, in the Sai River ravine, Kabuto wiped his sweat. Your wife is out of danger. Fugaku looked grateful. Thank you. If we hadn't met you, my wife might not have survived. Kabuto put on a harmless expression. Not at all. It was just a small effort. Your left eye seems badly injured. Would you like me to examine it? Fugaku shook his head. It's fine. It doesn't matter now. Your medical ninjutsu is exceptional. You can't be a nobody in the hidden sand. Kabuto smiled faintly. My name is Yakushi Kabuto. I serve in the Sand's medical unit. I wouldn't call myself famous, but I'm not a nobody either. Kabuto was currently a Sand village spy. Finding Fugaku was no accident. His network of informants had discovered Fugaku's whereabouts. So upon receiving the news, Kabuto came here personally. Meanwhile, at the Sai River Shrine, Juzo was guarding the entrance. 3 days ago, he was ordered to stop Orochimaru from leaving. Just then, the Deva path approached. Juzo said respectfully. Leader, the Deva Path asked calmly. No mistakes, I presume. Juzo nodded at him. Everything is going as planned. The Deva Path entered the shrine and fixed his gaze on Orochimaru, but there was no response. The Deva Path narrowed his eyes and reached out his hand. The moment he touched him, the Akatsuki cloak collapsed into a pile. Several small snakes slithered onto the floor. The Deva Path took a deep breath. Is this what you meant by as planned? Juzo was furious. Bastard. He slipped away right under my nose. When I get my hands on him, I'll tear him to pieces. The Deva Path sneered. Go with Sasori. Make sure you bring back his head. Meanwhile, near the Sai River, Itachi and I braved the pouring rain, following Yingu's sensing, to rapidly approach Fugaku's location. Just then, we spotted Orochimaru nearby. Itachi's expression darkened. Oh, Rochima, are you ... Why is he here? Oh no, father. But my face showed pure ecstasy. It was Orochimaru. I was just wondering how to contact him. And here he was, right in front of me. Itachi was about to rush to Fugaku when Kabuto emerged from the ravine. And right behind him was Fugaku. Itachi looked surprised. Father ... Why is he with Yakushi Kabuto? Kabuto greeted Orochimaru. Lord Orochimaru, I've been expecting you. Orochimaru smiled at that. It's been a while, Kabuto. But Fugaku-san looks quite haggard. Fugaku nodded thoughtfully. I wondered why a sand ninja saved us. It seems this was your arrangement. Orochimaru glanced our way. Since you two are already here, why not show yourselves? Kabuto was startled. When did they arrive? I didn't sense them at all. After Fugaku saw us, Itachi breathed a sigh of relief. Are the clan members safe? Itachi nodded at him. Except for Lang and his followers, everyone reached the rendezvous safely. Fugaku sighed helplessly. Lang brought it upon himself. It's a pity for the youths who followed him. Itachi asked hesitantly, is mother okay? Fugaku replied meaningfully, she's fine. She's resting inside. Yakushi Kabuto saved her, though it's not as simple as it seems. Orochimaru looked up at the rainy sky. Heavy rain. Shall we talk inside? Itachi dashed into the ravine, rushing toward the unconscious Makoto. Fugaku stayed on guard against Kabuto, preventing him from making sudden moves. As for me, I activated my Sharingan and followed closely behind Orochimaru, afraid he would turn and flee. I told myself to stay calm. I had to focus on the bigger picture. I was in a dangerous situation. If I used Koto Amatsuki too early, I'd lose my biggest trump card. Even if I subdued Orochimaru now, I wouldn't get the Hashirama cells right away. I'll just keep him steady for now. Once settled, I can do as I please with him. They reached a clearing deep in the ravine. Orochimaru suddenly spoke. Since we met here, why don't we exchange intel? To show my sincerity, I'll go first. My organization has been watching me closely. I smelled danger, so when I received Kabuto's message, I took the chance to defect. Fugaku raised an eyebrow. So, my encounter with Yakushi Kabuto here wasn't arranged by you? Orochimaru shook his head. Of course not. It's true Kabuto is my subordinate, but this child is quite capable. He brings me surprises from time to time. So, I gave him a lot of freedom. Then, I suddenly asked, is your organization called the Akatsuki? Orochimaru was slightly surprised, as expected of the Uchiha. Since you already know, it makes things much easier. The shrine at Sino Kawara is an Akatsuki gathering place. Akatsuki's leader, Pain, is also in the shrine right now. I'm sure Shisui-kun and Itachi-kun have already noticed. The sudden rain outside is not ordinary. It is a jutsu called Rain Tiger at will. Nothing can hide under this heavy rain. I imagine our every move is already under Pain's surveillance. These words made everyone's hearts sink. Orochimaru continued. Akatsuki's ninjas will likely find this place very soon. We should prepare our response early on. As soon as he finished speaking, an eerie sound of bells suddenly rang outside, accompanied by rising mist. Orochimaru looked up. Are they already here? Sasori of the Red Sand and Biwa Juzo. From outside, a cold voice spoke. Orochimaru, come out and face your death. At this time, Itachi picked up Makoto. Orochimaru, it seems they are coming for you. We don't need to get involved in this mess. Fugaku's gaze fell upon Kabuto. Thank you for saving Makoto. But since your motives were impure from the start, we don't owe you any favors. Let's part ways here. Kabuto broke down a little. How did it turn out like this? I've doomed Lord Orochimaru. At that moment, I spoke up. Wait, Orochimaru, let's make a deal. Orochimaru asked calmly, and what is the deal? I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I took Fugaku's eye out of the scroll and tossed it to him. Fugaku caught it. Impressed, you actually did it. Shisui, you killed Aburame Tatsuma. Orochimaru instantly understood my intent. and shot a glance at Kabuto. Seeing this, Kabuto stepped forward and implanted the eye for Fugaku. Orochimaru then fixed his gaze on me. Shisui-kun, now you can tell me what the deal is, right? I gave him a faint smile. You know, the Uchiha have broken ties with Konoha. Our next step is to build our own village. I want you to serve our village from now on. In exchange, we'll help you escape Akatsuki's pursuit. Orochimaru shrug. Shisui-kun, a ninja won't dedicate their entire life just because their life was saved. At least, I'm not that kind of ninja. With your insight, you must understand. Even if I agreed under duress, you wouldn't believe me. So spare me this kind of probing. I pondered for a moment before answering. How about this? 1 year. Once my village is on track, you are free to leave. Just then, Sasori impatiently shouted from outside. Orochimaru, get out here. I tilted my head. Thought about it. Orochimaru nodded. Deal. I immediately led Itachi and Fugaku outside. Orochimaru followed behind us. Seeing this, Sasori was slightly surprised. Orochimaru, to think you're one of Konoha's legendary Sannin. Are you too afraid to face me? Orochimaru spread his hands. I'd love to fight you fair and square. But as you can see, I'm not exactly my own master right now. Sasori said coolly. I have no intention of making enemies of the Uchiha. My target is only Orochimaru. So could you please stay out of my way? To this, I smoothly replied. I'm afraid that's impossible. Orochimaru still owes me an old debt. If he dies here today, I won't be able to collect it. Sasori sneered. It seems you're unwilling to step aside. If that's the case, then you can die alongside Orochimaru. Saying this, he unleashed his Hiruko, Needle Senbon on us. I directly activated my Susanoo, blocking the poison needles. Orochimaru revealed a shocked expression. Is this Susanoo? It's truly magnificent. Juzo was also very surprised. What the hell kind of jutsu is that? Seeing this, Sasori's heart sank. Uchiha Shisui alone is troublesome enough. If it's come to this, we can't kill Orochimaru now. Not unless the leader acts personally. Just then, Deva Path's voice echoed in Sasori and Juzo's minds. Retreat. There will be plenty of chances to kill Orochimaru later. Hearing this, Sasori focused his gaze on Orochimaru. Orochimaru, I'll let you off this time. Enjoy whatever little life you have left. Orochimaru smiled at him. Oh my, I'll be looking forward to it. With that, Sasori and Juzo left. The rain over Sai no Kawara stopped as well. Deva Path had undone the Rain Tiger at Wiljutsu. I retracted my Susanoo and told them, let's go to the land of waterfalls. We've wandered for long enough. It's time to settle down. Immediately, using the Flying Thunder God Jutsu, I took them with me and appeared before our clansmen. Fugaku and Makoto's safe return left the clan members ecstatic. Fugaku waved his hand at them. Even though I've returned, Shisui will be the true leader of the Uchiha from now on. Then, Tekka asked me, Shy? Sui, are we going to attack Takigakure immediately? Or ... I pondered for a moment before answering. Although negotiations probably won't do much good, we should try diplomacy before force to avoid future criticism. In the blink of an eye, it was the next day in Takigakure. In the reception room, Shibuki spoke politely. To have esteemed guests from the Uchiha travel so far to our humble village. ... is truly a great honor. Since the visit was sudden, we've only prepared some modest tea. Forgive us if our hospitality has been lacking. I gave him a slight smile. Village Chief Shemu, you should know. Not long ago, the Uchiha clan officially cut ties with the Hidden Leaf. Therefore, we Uchiha urgently need a new place to settle. Hearing this, Shemu sighed. I understand why you've come, Lord Shisui. But the Hidden Dragon Village is small. Our ninja ranks are already full. The Uchiha is a prestigious clan. Our small village simply cannot accommodate you. However, since you've traveled so far, we won't let you leave empty-handed. Our village will provide relocation funds, ensuring you have provisions for your journey. It is our duty as fellow shinobi. Song, go to the vault and fetch 10 million ryo. Song immediately turned to get the money. Seeing this, I stopped him. Hold on, Shemu raised an eyebrow. Are you dissatisfied with 10 million ryo, Lord Shisui? We can increase it to 20 million. I shook my head helplessly. I think you've misunderstood, Chief Shemu. When I said we were looking for a place to settle, I didn't mean the Uchiha joining the Hidden Dragon Village. I meant the Hidden Dragon Village joining the Uchiha. As soon as I said this, the atmosphere in the room froze. But I paid it no mind. Of course, for your villagers' sake, we will publicly declare it an alliance. Furthermore, we can promise that, in the future, if the Land of Dragons is ever attacked, Song furiously interrupted. You homeless dogs don't know your place. Why don't you look in the mirror and see what you really are? I activated my Sharingan and glared at him. Your name is Song, right? You've got backbone. I wonder if that's just your personal opinion. or if it represents Chief Shimu's as well. Just as Song was about to retort, Shimu stopped him with a glance. Song, how dare you be rude to our guests? Step down. Song understood Shimu's look and left the room. Shimu then turned his gaze to me. Shisui Uchiha, you're renowned as Shisui of the Body Flicker. But don't think the Hidden Dragon Village is a pushover for you to easily trample on. If you are here as guests, we will gladly host you. But if you dare to start trouble, the Hidden Dragon Village will respond in kind. I nodded calmly. I understand your stance, Chief Shimu. Then I, Shisui Uchiha, on behalf of the Uchiha clan, formally declare war on the Hidden Dragon Village. Tonight at midnight, both sides will gather their forces outside the village. We will let strength decide. The loser must submit to the winner's terms, without any complaints. After speaking, I vanished from the spot. Night quickly fell. I stood outside the village with the Uchiha clan. Looking at the hidden dragon ninja, I frowned. They're here. There are more than expected, treating this as a battle for their survival. They even deployed Chunin and Genin. Fugaku spoke in a deep voice. Shisui, although you said we should assimilate them and avoid taking lives if possible, how can a ninja battle have no casualties? I chuckled softly. I know, so let's use overwhelming power to end this as quickly as possible. As my words fell, the three of us simultaneously activated Susanoo. Seeing this, the Uchiha clansmen were thrilled. What is that? Why haven't they used it before? Lord Fugaku, they were hiding such an ultimate technique? Does that mean we can use it too? Meanwhile, the hidden dragon ninja were terrified. Shimu forced himself to stay calm. Don't panic. The more powerful the technique, the more chakra it drains. Numbers are our biggest advantage. Spread out our formation. Keep attacking to wear them down. Soon, a fierce battle erupted between the two sides, but under the constant suppression of Susanoo and the Uchiha's Sharingan, the hidden dragon ninja began to lose ground. At the same time, Orochimaru had trapped all 6 white Zetsu. The white Zetsu gritted their teeth. Damn it! Orochimaru, how did you find us? Orochimaru laughed. Having been in the Akatsuki for so long, I naturally found ways to detect you lot and block your long-distance communication. After all, be it the Uchiha's massive advance or the battle happening here, how could we hide it from the white Zetsus everywhere? In a large-scale battle, our trump cards will inevitably be revealed. I didn't want the Akatsuki getting our latest intel, especially not Obito. Therefore, I gave Orochimaru a special mission before the battle. Orochimaru, I know you can sense the white Zetsu. I don't want them spying on this battle and leaking our intel. So once the battle starts, I'll leave those guys to you. Hearing this, Orochimaru found it amusing. Shisui, aren't you afraid I'll escape in the chaos? I gave him a meaningful look. You can leave. I won't stop you, but you'll miss out on the material leading to the truth. Orochimaru asked presumptuously, are you talking about the Sharingan? I chuckled softly. The Otsutsuki clan. Hearing this, Orochimaru's eyes lit up. Then let's end this quickly. I can't wait to learn the ultimate truth about that clan. Now, looking at the defeated hidden dragon ninja. Submit or die. Shimu took a deep breath. I, Shimu Shang, will lead the Dragon Shadow to submit to the Uchiha. After the battle ended, we returned to that reception room. I looked at the anxious Shimu. Elder Shimu, I suppose we're friends made through conflict. Shimu replied subserviently. Not at all. I should thank you for letting bygones be bygones, Lord Shisui. Thank you for leaving us a place to stay. I chuckled. The one meant to inherit the Dragon Shadow Village is your grandson, Shimutsai. He's only 12. You were afraid of implicating him, which is why you're being so subservient. Right. Shimu sighed. I've lived a long life. I've seen it all. I stopped fearing death long ago. But it's not just my grandson. The lives of everyone in the village rest on my shoulders. That's why I had no choice but to bow before you, Lord Shisui. But I couldn't hide it from your perceptive eyes. I asked him casually, do you think that the Dragon Shadow forces truly submitted to the Uchiha? Shimu lowered his head. Half of them. Half only submitted because they were forced to. As for the other half, they're ready to die for their beliefs at any time, to serve the land of dragons that raised them. If a Dragon Shadow village, led by the Uchiha, ever makes decisions against the land of dragons, those people will definitely fight to the death. I want to ask you, Lord Shisui, do you intend to settle in this village with your clan? I shook my head at him. No, my plan is as follows. Then, I revealed the one country, to villages plan to Shimu in its entirety. Upon hearing it, Shimu Shang felt a sense of awe. This young man actually wants to dismantle the system from the Warring States era. The one country, one village system that exists today. And he's proposed a practical method to do so. He's even taken the first step. What incredible vision and resolve. I sighed softly. As for the half that submitted to me out of necessity, I sincerely accept them. Because one day, they will accept reality. They'll realize that following me is a great honor. As for the half ready to die for the land of dragons, please tell them, Elder Shemu, no matter where this village ends up, if the land of dragons is in trouble, they can go to its aid at any time. I will not stop them. I'll even send people to help them protect it. These words made Shemu extremely emotional. That would be wonderful. I looked at him with a profound gaze. However, Elder Shemu, you seem to have missed another potential group. Shemu froze in surprise. I continued to speak. In this war, many dragon shinobi lost their lives. The deceased may have loved ones among the living. They must hate the Uchiha to the bone. Perhaps they only submitted for one reason: to kill me and kill my clansmen. Elder Shemu, can you deny the existence of this group? Hearing this, Shemu broke out in a cold sweat. For these people, how do you plan to handle them, Lord Shisui? I smiled faintly. I'll go through all the ninja and civilian registers in the village and compile a list. Shemu was surprised. Civilians too? I nodded at him. Of course. Seemingly harmless civilians are often more dangerous. Human hatred can be terrifying, especially when hidden in plain sight. Unseen hatred like that ... puts even me on edge. Shemu was quite confused. But for a powerful ninja like you, even if what you're worrying about happens, what could they possibly do to you? I shook my head helplessly. True, I am strong, but I can't guarantee I'll never be weak. And I can't protect my clan everywhere, all the time. I can't control every variable. That's why I prefer to nip problems in the bud. So, after compiling the list, could you do me a favor, Elder Shemu? As I spoke, I took out a ninjato and a folding fan. Seeing this, Shemu was startled. Lord Shisui, I put on a serious expression. I know the dilemma you're facing, but I have my reasons too. We are now two villages on the same front. Think carefully. Do you want long-term prosperity, or do you want us holding grudges against each other? Make your choice. With a complex expression, Shemu picked up the fan. Seeing this, I smiled knowingly. The ninjato represented violent purging. The folding fan represented verbal persuasion. It seemed like two choices. But Shemu Shang didn't have a choice at all. If he didn't want me to start a massacre, he had to use his prestige as the former Dragon Shadow to clean up this mess and ensure the Uchiha had no worries. Shortly after, in an open clearing, Shemu Shang gathered the people on the list. I watched you all grow up. You are like my own children. I know you're full of resentment, with nowhere to vent it. Speak your minds. As soon as he said this, the crowd immediately erupted in anger. We used to live in peace, but today, the Uchiha invaded. They killed so many innocent ninja. My brother was one of them. My lover was also killed. Our unborn child will be born without a father? Chief Shemu, you led us to submit to the Uchiha. But how are we supposed to vent this hatred? Please, tell us what we should do. After hearing this, Shemu dropped straight to his knees. Everyone was shocked by this. Chief, what are you doing? This isn't your fault. Shemu wept bitterly. I must repent to you all. Before the war, the Uchiha came to negotiate. It was I who failed to assess the situation. I personally ruined the path to a peaceful resolution, making you suffer the pain of losing your loved ones. It wasn't the Uchiha. It was me. The crowd quickly helped Shemu up. Chief, why take all the blame? Who could have known they were so strong? Besides, fighting the invaders was our shared will. If we surrendered without a fight, that would be the real disgrace. Hearing this, Shemu sighed. Children, will you listen to this old man? Everyone quieted down. Seeing this, Shemu spoke earnestly. You all grew up in a peaceful environment, free from worries. While you enjoyed this peace and comfort, today's tragedies were playing out worldwide. Ninjutsu was created to take lives. Therefore, ninja who wield ninjutsu must be ready to lose their lives at any time. So, you shouldn't resent the Uchiha, but rather our own weakness, unable to protect the lives of those we cherish. That weakness is the root of all this. Just then, someone spoke up. Chief, are you defending the Uchiha? They are invaders. Can acts of aggression really be sugar-coated? Shemu pondered for a moment before replying. You're right, as you said, they are invaders. But, if we were in the Uchiha's shoes, and if we didn't invade, we would lose our home. If you possess their immense power, what would you do? Would you dare say you'd rather let your loved ones die than invade another's territory? The crowd fell into deep sorrow. Occasional sobs could be heard. Shemu sighed softly. Cry. Cry for your loved ones. Then, as true ninja, dedicate yourselves to your future duties. You might not be able to accept the Uchiha right away, but that's fine. Time will heal everything. The Uchiha's arrival will bring this stagnant place a brand new future. That is what I firmly believe. At that moment, I walked over Time doesn't just heal everything, it also subverts everything. I know that even after hearing this saintly old man's speech. Many of you still want to skin me alive. Right, they followed the voice to look at me. Shemu nodded in greeting to me. Then, I continued, I'm not here to rub salt in your wounds, but to tell you a truth. If our Uchiha clan's visual prowess evolves to its absolute peak, it can even manipulate life and death. As long as you follow me sincerely, when the time is right, the loved ones you lost in this battle may have a chance to reunite with you. Someone urgently asked, Uchiha Shisui, is that true? I replied firmly, Uchiha Shisui, always keep my word. However, I won't waste my visual prowess on those unworthy of being called ninja. Old Mr. Jung Muxiang's words are full of wisdom. Think about it carefully. As my voice faded, the crowd submitted to me, one after another. Lord Shisui, please let us follow you. In the distance, Kabuto was disdainful. Manipulating life and death? That's utter nonsense. But Orochimaru rejected his claim. Not necessarily. The six paths forbidden jutsu, Rina Tensei. I've seen it in ancient texts. That is the power of the six paths Rinnegan. The peak of the Uchiha's visual prowess is indeed the Rinnegan. In the blink of an eye, it was the next day, in a secret room. I stated my demand concisely. Orochimaru, I want Hashirama cells. Orochimaru pondered for a long time before speaking. A demand is an ambition. Shisui-kun, what is your ambition? I asked him calmly. Ambition, is the answer important? Hearing this, Orochimaru smiled slightly. Crucially important. If you only want to sustain your Koto Amatsuki and make Hashirama cells a plug-in for your body, that couldn't be easier. With modifications similar to Danzo's right arm, I can get it done tonight. But that also means your achievements with the Hashirama cells will stop right there. Hearing this, I raised an eyebrow. How so? Seeing this, Orochimaru continued. Hashirama cells cause a severe backlash in the recipient. From the moment they are accepted, the body's own cells produce suppressor cells against them. But the human body has a limited number of cells. When the three types of cells reach a delicate balance, the transplant is considered a success. However, those who gain Hashirama cells via transplant can only gain half of the first Hokage's power at most, because the suppressor cells are permanent. After hearing this, I nodded thoughtfully. Could it be that there are other ways to obtain them besides a transplant? Orochimaru couldn't help but laugh at this. Of course, through genetic engineering, we can modify them at the genetic level, completely transforming your own cells into Hashirama cells. This bypasses the production of suppressor cells entirely. But the risk is dozens of times higher than a transplant. It was these words that made me realize instantly. You've done similar experiments. Orochimaru's eyes filled with nostalgia. I remember the first time was over 10 years ago. I gathered 60 newborn infants and implanted them with Hashirama's cells. Unfortunately, only one child barely survived. I replied calmly, I've actually heard about this. That child survived and was taken into root by Danzo. His code name is Kino. But you mentioned transplantation just now, right? Orochimaru explained further. I performed a transplant, but it accidentally triggered genetic modification. Probably because the subjects were infants. When I learned that child was still alive, I immediately conducted targeted research and perfected this genetic modification technology. Unfortunately, there were no more successful cases. I pondered for a moment, then spoke. But from what I've heard, his wood release ... seems far inferior to Senju Hashirama's. Orochimaru shook his head helplessly. Genetic modification is also based on cells. The Hashirama cells I used on that child were a degraded version. Their purity was only a fifth of the original. That was the main reason he survived. Or, to put it more accurately ... that child is a successful test subject for the degraded Hashirama cell genetic modification. I let out a long breath. I understand. Orochimaru, regarding the Hashirama cell transplant and the genetic modification, I'll give you an answer as soon as possible. You must be tired from your journey. Get some rest. I then left the secret chamber. Next, I arrived at Takigakure's waterfall. Feeling irritated, I kicked a pebble into the water. I thought a transplant would solve everything. But now there's this genetic modification with far greater risks. The sound of the pebble hitting the water drew the attention of Itachi, who was spacing out above. Shisui. Hearing him, I used the flying thunder god to appear beside him. Something on your mind, Itachi. Itachi smiled helplessly. Couldn't I say the same for you? I smiled at him. Tell me, what are you thinking about? Itachi said with a hint of melancholy. We used to sit in the woods behind the Uchiha compound and watch the moon together. The moon remains the same, but our home is now a foreign land. Shisui. I was wondering, Is there anything in this world that never changes? His words left me at a loss for how to reply. Itachi continued on his own. After giving it much thought, I've gradually realized the truth. The only thing in this world that doesn't change is change itself. Back then, Hashirama and Madara made a blood oath and founded the Hidden Leaf. But in the blink of an eye, the Uchiha of the Leaf became a thing of the past. That past alliance is now a hollow promise. Sorry, Shisui, we've been through so much lately. It's given me some pessimistic thoughts. At a critical time like this, when the Uchiha are trying to rise again, saying such things will only add to your worries. I shook my head at him. No, what you said makes sense. I was actually quite engrossed in it. Then, Itachi asked with some concern, Shisui, you summoned Orochimaru tonight, didn't you? As I considered how to answer, Itachi said hesitantly, was it for Senju Hashirama's cells? His words surprised me. You knew. Itachi couldn't help but sigh. I've dabbled a bit in our clan's history. From the Warring States period, the Mangekyo that birthed Koto Amatsuki, can only unlock its true power, through Hashirama's cells. But if a simple Hashirama cell transplant was enough to solve the problem, you wouldn't be looking so troubled, Shisui. I sighed inwardly. I really can't hide anything from you. I then began to explain it to Itachi. Itachi, I'm quite troubled. Orochimaru gave me two options, so I was just about to discuss this with you. Itachi was a little stunned by this. He didn't expect me to forego any excuses, and just state it so directly. Then tell me, what are these two options? Following that, I detailed the risks and rewards of both the transplant and the genetic modification. Itachi nodded thoughtfully. I see. I put on a conflicted expression. If I can obtain the complete power of Hashirama, I can ensure our clan stands completely undefeated in the face of any adversity. But the risks are too immense. I fear that, if something happens to me, I'll be dumping this mess onto you and your father. Moreover, Takigakure just submitted to us. Their loyalty is still unstable. If internal and external conflicts erupt simultaneously, I don't even want to imagine the consequences. Itachi took a deep breath. Indeed, we must plan this out carefully. Just then, Chuan appeared before us. Shisui, this was just delivered from Kumogakure. Please take a look. I took the letter and examined it. It seemed news of the Uchiha conquering Takigakure had already reached Kumogakure. In the letter, the Raikage demanded that the Uchiha lead the Takigakure forces and submit to Kumogakure. I couldn't help but sneer at this. What a calculated scheme. Trying to reap the benefits without any effort? This way, not only the Uchiha, but even Takigakure's seven tails would belong to them. Kumogakure would possess three-tailed beasts and instantly become the dominant force in the ninja world. Need you even ask? Of course I refused, Chuan said with a grim expression. The Kumogakure messenger made it clear. If the Uchiha refuse their recruitment, they will settle the old score regarding the Chinoy clan. When that time comes, Kumogakure will march on our borders. To uproot the Uchiha. Hearing this, Itachi sneered. The Chinoy clan was a clan in the land of lightning centuries ago. The hidden cloud didn't even exist back then. How could there be old scores to settle? This is purely an excuse for war. Chuan hesitated and said, perhaps avoiding battle is a way out. I immediately rejected Chuan's proposal. If we avoid battle, our victory over Hidden Dragon and our established prestige will be ruined. Who would willingly submit to the Uchiha then? My ninja village plan would be destroyed too. Hearing this, Chuan was deeply distressed. Then what should we do? The current Ryukage and the Uchiha are in no condition to fight them. I didn't answer his question. Instead, I looked at Itachi. Itachi, I think I've made my choice. I then left the area immediately and returned to the secret chamber, where I told Orochimaru bluntly, Orochimaru, my ambition is to obtain the power of the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju, the power that quelled the chaotic world. Modify my body with Hashirama cells. Orochimaru smiled at me. Then, Shisui-kun, what do I get out of this? I looked at him calmly. If I die during the modification, you can take my eyes. Orochimaru readily agreed. Deal. However, as for high-purity Hashirama cells, I don't have any on hand. If you want them, Shisui-kun, you must go to the Akatsuki's hideout for the Geto statue. It is an artificial body identical to Hashirama himself. I nodded thoughtfully. So, I have to infiltrate the Akatsuki's hideout and steal that artificial body? Orochimaru spread his hands. The difficulty of this step alone is perhaps no less than challenging the first Hokage himself. I took a deep breath. Taking it by force is impossible. I must formulate a meticulous plan and consider every detail. Otherwise, it's a death wish. Soon after, Orochimaru took me to a room. 6 white Zetsu captured by Orochimaru were tightly bound One white Zetsu glared at us and yelled, "Orochimaru, Shisui Uchiha, let us go, or I guarantee something terrible will happen." I didn't say a word. Instead, I walked right up to that white Zetsu. It instantly lost its bravado. "What are you doing?" "I won't talk. I won't say a thing. I may not look it, but I'm very tight-lipped." I couldn't help but laugh. "It's fine. Everyone can testify for you. You're tight-lipped." And didn't say a word. With that, I cast a genjutsu on him. He cried out in pain. A moment later, I got the answers I wanted. As for that white Zetsu, its mind couldn't handle it, and it turned into a corpse. I turned my gaze to Orochimaru, the Dragon Spine Canyon in the Land of Whirlpools, located 10 kilometers southwest of Kanabi Bridge. It's guarded by a barrier that blocks sensory perception. It's a phantom zone not found on any map. For a long time, it has served as the Akatsuki's hideout for the Geto statue. As for the password to open the barrier, I gleaned it from this white Zetsu's mind. But the biggest problem is likely the countless white Zetsu sentry surrounding it. Getting close without being discovered is practically impossible. After hearing this, Orochimaru asked, "What about the combat deployment inside?" My expression grew solemn. Right before its telepathic link was severed, there were several white Zetsu inside, along with the mastermind behind the Akatsuki, Obito Uchiha. Orochimaru was shocked to hear this. During my time in the Akatsuki, I suspected Pain wasn't the true leader. To think the mastermind is actually Obito. But Shisui-kun, you don't seem very surprised. I gave a feigned deep reply. The eyes of an Uchiha hold endless possibilities. Even the most absurd tales can become reality. Orochimaru gave an intriguing smile. That's true. Then what should we do with these guys? I fell into deep thought. To infiltrate the Akatsuki's hideout, I will definitely need a helper. But Itachi shouldn't be involved in this. Thinking of this, I drew a jutsu formula on the ground and threw a white Zetsu into the array. I took out a piece of preserved flesh and placed it there. The white Zetsu, used as a living sacrifice, was filled with terror. "What are you doing?" I raised my hands and formed seals. Forbidden's Jutsu, Ito Tensei. In the next second, the white Zetsu transformed into Lang. Lang looked at me in surprise. "Shisui, you're still alive." I took out a kunai with a talisman attached. Body flickered behind Lang and stabbed it into the back of his head. "When the time is right, I will return your personality. But for now, I just need you to faithfully execute my orders." With a puff of smoke, Lang's eyes turned completely dead. I then looked at the 4 white Zetsu playing dead. As for these 4, keep them for now. They'll be spares for future Ito Tensei summons. Orochimaru nodded at me. It'd be safer to bring one more person. I raised an eyebrow. "You mean 4 eyes?" Orochimaru smiled faintly. "Kabuto may not look like much, but the boy is quite capable. His sharp mind and medical ninjutsu will definitely come in handy." I shifted my gaze to the shadows. "Come out, you little rat snooping in the dark." Kabuto stepped out from the shadows. After finalizing the battle plan, I used the Flying Thunder God to take Orochimaru. Kabuto and Lang arrived at the cave in the southwest. During last night's strategy meeting, Orochimaru, Kabuto, and I reached a consensus. Slipping past all the white Zetsu sentries is an impossible task. It's better to intentionally expose ourselves. Kabuto smiled meaningfully. "Lord Orochimaru, Lord Shisui, with my experience as a double agent, navigating between nations, allow me to handle the intentional exposure." I raised an eyebrow at his words. "What do you mean by a natural exposure?" Kabuto began to analyze it rationally. "The news of the Uchiha conquering Ryugakure has already spread across the ninja world. Coincidentally, Akatsuki's white Zetsu near there have lost contact. Could that just be a coincidence? Their leader only needs to think a little to realize we were the ones behind it. A white Zetsu falling into Uchiha Shisui's hands means their intel has already been leaked, including the location of their headquarters. There's no way Obito doesn't realize this. I had naturally thought of this as well, but Kabuto's keen insight still inwardly alarmed me. Kabuto said calmly, "So, I might as well seek out Obito directly to express my intent to defect and confuse their judgment. As for the excuse, I already have one. Lord Shisui, you used Koto Amatsuki on Lord Orochimaru to obtain the Hashirama cells, and I, fearing I couldn't escape your mind control, fled. I offer intel for Akatsuki's protection." I frowned upon hearing this. Negotiations require equal footing. Why would Obito listen to your nonsense? He might just assume I used Koto Amatsuki to control you too. He could just capture and torture you, or simply hypnotize you with his Sharingan to make you spill everything. If that happens, wouldn't our plan be exposed? Kabuto laughed at my words. "First, I admire your thoroughness, but regarding this point, please trust my adaptability. as a double agent. I have a way to make Obito hesitate to use his Sharingan on me. I stared coldly at Kabuto. Then why should I believe you won't change your mind and betray me? At this moment, Orochimaru suddenly spoke up. I can guarantee that this child's loyalty to me is absolute. As long as I don't betray you, Kabuto absolutely won't betray you, Shisui. Kabuto smiled and nodded. Exactly. Please trust me, Lord Shisui. After pondering for a moment, I asked, what is your basis for making Obito hesitate and not use his Sharingan on you? Tell me, and I'll judge if it's viable. Kabuto explained his method directly. After a long silence, I nodded. Kabuto nodded as well. By then, Uchiha Obito will be lured away. Then our pawn can be put to use. Edo Tensei reanimations have immortal bodies. The only way to stop them is sealing. If we place a flying Raijin mark on him, he'll become an indestructible, mobile, flying Raijin beacon. Once Obito is drawn away, Lang can ruthlessly charge into Akatsuki's base. Even if the White Zetsu spot him, they won't be able to do anything about it. Next will be the battle between you and Obito. Feeling a presence, I glanced at the ceiling. Then I said, Yakushi Kabuto, your plan is very thorough. But no plan survives contact with reality. To ensure we can adapt, I must leave a flying Raijin mark on you too. Kabuto replied matter-of-factly. Of course, but no matter how the plan changes, there are at least 3 blind spots for the enemy that are absolutely to our advantage. First, you excel at the flying Raijin Jutsu. We've successfully kept this from Akatsuki. Second, they don't know about the Hashirama cell, genetic modification technology. Thus, it's hard for them to imagine that our true goal is Senju Hashirama's artificial body. Third, they could never imagine that we dare infiltrate their lair to pull off something so crazy. We then repeatedly refined the details and finally finalized the operation plan. After I left the secret room, I searched for traces of the crow, musing to myself, Itachi really was here just now. Unsurprisingly, he knows about our plan. Maybe I can use this to gauge Itachi's thoughts and determine how we interact going forward. So, Itachi, what will you do? Let's find out. Meanwhile, in the Southern Valley Cave, I placed flying Raijin marks on Lang and Kabuto. Then let's proceed with the plan. Before leaving, Orochimaru said to Kabuto, I know you have your own thoughts, Kabuto. Shisui is a vital clue to my pursuit of truth. I hope you don't get any funny ideas. Understand, Kabuto answered respectfully. Lord Orochimaru, please rest assured. You gave me a place to belong and a purpose. Even if it's to fulfill your ambitions, I know where to draw the line. Orochimaru patted his shoulder. Go, Kabuto, be careful. You are equally precious to me. Kabuto looked visibly moved. Then, he departed. The distance to Dragon Ridge Canyon is 200 kilometers. Kabuto's movements were soon discovered by the ambushing White Zetsu. At the same time, Obito was lost in thought before the Gedo statue. White Zetsu poked his head out from the wall. Obito, outside the Sai perimeter, we found the spy secretly contacting Orochimaru. Obito nodded thoughtfully. Kabuto, shouldn't he be with Orochimaru in the hidden dragon village? To suddenly appear in the land of fire. It seems something has happened. Keep an eye on him. 6 hours later, White Zetsu appeared again. He's heading toward our hideout. Obito said calmly. Keep watching. 10 minutes later, White Zetsu appeared again. That kid opened the concealment barrier with a password. He's almost outside the cave. Obito stood up unhurriedly. White Zetsu asked curiously, will you kill him? Obito placed his hand on the Gedo statue. Shisui most likely has Hashirama's cells by now. For Yakushi Kabuto to find our hideout. At such a critical juncture, he must be sent by Shisui to scout us out. The worst case scenario. Is that Shisui used Genjutsu on White Zetsu. Learned Akatsuki's core secrets. And is coming for the Gedo statue. Though, I don't think Shisui is that audacious, but the Eye of the Moon plan allows no mistakes. It's no trouble to deal with him, anyway. Saying this, he unleashed Kamui's vortex. It sucked the entire Gedo statue inside. Then, he walked out of the cave. Let's go. Let's meet this little rat. Kabuto looked at Obito, calmly explaining his reason for coming. That's how it is. Lord Orochimaru, has completely become Uchiha Shisui's puppet. I must find a new way out. Obito sneered. What you say makes sense, but I don't trust you. So let me use my Sharingan. To verify your words. Obito approached him. Kabuto hastily said, you can't use Sharingan Genjutsu on me. Obito asked casually. Why? I'd like to hear your excuse. Kabuto couldn't help but sigh. A curse mark has been placed on my brain. If I'm put under Genjutsu, the mark will trigger, and I'll die instantly. My death doesn't matter right now. but you'll lose the valuable intel I have. Obito stared at him intently. I've never heard of such a curse mark. Kabuto waved his hands helplessly. It's Danzo's doing. To prevent root members from leaking intel, Danzo places the tongue eradication curse mark on their tongues. And the curse mark in my brain is an enhanced version of it. I know too many of Konoha's secrets. Danzo had to take special care of me. Obito caught the flaw in his words. Wouldn't Orochimaru know about this? Kabuto smiled bitterly. He does. The curse mark is very strong. Even Lord Orochimaru couldn't undo it right away. But he had found a way to remove it before he fell under Shisui's Koto Amatsuki. Obito nodded thoughtfully. Tell me, then, this intel that's worth Akatsuki's protection. Kabuto dropped a bombshell. After Shisui obtained Hashirama's cells, he immediately targeted the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. He's even found a target to replace his eyes. Hearing this, Obito pressed him. Who is it? Kabuto shockingly replied, Uchiha Kagami. Obito was startled by this name. Kagami was an Uchiha genius, who emerged during the First Ninja World War. He was a direct disciple of the Second Hokage, a peer of the Third Hokage and Danzo, and an inheritor of the Will of Fire, and also his ancestor. Obito fell into deep thought. Mangekyo transplants can be done within 3 generations. Yakushi Kabuto's words might not be groundless. A hint of concern flashed in his eyes. Continue. Kabuto continued. Kagami died in the Second Ninja World War. When his body was found, his eyes were gone. The whereabouts of his eyes remained a mystery. Rumor has it, to prevent his Sharingan from falling to the enemy, Kagami destroyed his own eyes before his death. But another rumor says, a rogue ninja sold his eyes to the black market. For years, Danzo had been searching for them, but found nothing. Obito asked in surprise, are you saying Shisui found their whereabouts? Kabuto nodded. Yes, he found them. He's about to trade with a black market broker, who holds Kagami's eyes. Obito stepped forward, grabbing Kabuto and lifting him into the air. Where is the trade? Kabuto remained perfectly calm. If I tell you, I'll be useless to you. You'll just kill me outright. Obito sneered. If you don't tell me, you'll die right now. I'll have someone look into it myself. Kabuto shook his head helplessly. Just hear me out first. Shisui learned a lot through White Zetsu, including the true face behind your mask. You seem to like calling yourself Madara. Right, but it makes sense. The Madara identity provides much convenience. In executing your plans. You know, for my espionage work, I have a massive intelligence network. Though inferior to your White Zetsu army, it's more than enough. Hearing this, Obito's heart sank. What are you getting at? Kabuto chuckled softly. What I'm saying is, if I don't contact my men within a day, your true identity behind that mask, will be broadcast across the ninja world. If you lose the Madara moniker, it will be very troublesome for you. Obito tightened his grip slightly. Are you threatening me? Kabuto ignored Obito's reaction. I wouldn't dare. I just want to live. Koto Amatsuki is a terrifying dojutsu. If I fall victim to it, my body and mind will no longer be my own. That's a fate worse than death. Therefore, I'd rather come to you and seek a chance at survival. Obito took a deep breath and put Kabuto down. You truly live up to your reputation. You can speak freely. I won't ignore the bigger picture, just to take your life. But let me make one thing clear. If you dare lie to me, I promise your fate will be infinitely worse than death. Kabuto shrugged at him. I know my limits. Aside from a decent brain and medical ninjutsu you deem insignificant, I have nothing. Hearing this, Obito's anger subsided slightly. Glad you understand. Speak, Kabuto replied seriously. The trading location is a secret Uchiha hideout east of the Land of Fire. Obito instantly knew the place. Asterisk the Tianyun Fire Shrine. Asterisk. That hideout has been abandoned for ages. It's not even within White Zetsu's scouting range. But a long time ago, I left a Kamui mark there. Kabuto continued. When I left, Shisui was already on his way. If you don't leave now, you might be too late. Normally, Obito would have been more cautious, but knowing I had acquired Hashirama cells and intended to claim the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan made it impossible for him to think rationally. Just then, White Zetsu emerged from the ground. Should we go scout it out first? Obito waved him off. No need, you're too slow. I'll be right back. He grabbed Kabuto and cast Kamui. After Obito and Kabuto left, I controlled Lang to approach the barrier. I formed seals and barged straight in, heading directly for the underground lair. The White Zetsus immediately noticed the intrusion. Another intruder? Isn't that Uchiha Lang? The one who died at Konoha's gates. Obito just left, and now he shows up. It's a trap. Send clones. Hurry to the Fire Cloud Mountain Shrine. warn Obito and stop that guy. At the shrine, Obito and Kabuto had just arrived. When they saw me talking with Orochimaru, Kabuto casually said, "Shisui is here." It seems the cloaked man beside him is the black market dealer trading the Mangekyo. Hearing this, Obito fell deep into thought. Asterisk last time at Konoha's ninjutsu archive. Asterisk. Asterisk he countered my intangibility. Asterisk. Asterisk now with Hashirama cells and Koto Amatsuki. Asterisk. Asterisk his base form. Asterisk. Asterisk has become a major obstacle. Asterisk. Asterisk to my Eye of the Moon plan. Asterisk. Asterisk now he's even aiming for the eternal Mangekyo. Asterisk. Asterisk I must kill him here. Asterisk. Asterisk to end this threat once and for all. Asterisk. Thinking this, Obito released Kabuto, took off his mask, and revealed his Mangekyo and 3 Tomo Sharingan. Obito immediately activated Izanagi and attempted to backstab me, but I reacted quickly and dodged it. I activated my Mangekyo and stared at him. Yet Obito showed no intention of dodging my gaze. Seeing this, my expression grew solemn. He isn't even afraid of my Koto Amatsuki. It seems, just as we theorized last night, the moment he saw me, he used his hidden left eye to cast Izanagi. Obito relentlessly closed in on me, but I dodged every strike. Growing impatient, I yelled, "Orochimaru, what are you waiting for?" Orochimaru threw off his black cloak, revealing his true appearance. Obito's face darkened the moment he saw him. He instantly realized this was a trap. He chuckled darkly. "I see. You're luring the tiger from the mountain. You went through all this trouble to lure me here. You're after the Geto statue, aren't you? Whatever your goal is, Uchiha Shisui. Izanagi has already been activated? I might as well take this chance to eliminate you." Obito unleashed fire style, blast wave wild dance. I countered with water style, twin dragon dance. Right then, Orochimaru stepped in to help me resist Obito. Obito scoffed coldly, "Orochimaru, ruining my plans? You can die here with him." Orochimaru just smirked non-committally. Meanwhile, Lang broke through White Zetsu's encirclement and entered the underground lair. But the place where the Geto statue was kept was completely empty. Seeing this through Lang's eyes, I was stunned. Asterisk did he move the statue? Asterisk. This was the worst-case scenario. Even during last night's planning, we made contingencies for every possibility. But Obito relocating the statue completely derailed this mission's objective, rendering our pre-battle prep meaningless. At that moment, Obito reached for me. Hardening my resolve, I shoved Orochimaru aside and let Obito's hand grab my shoulder. My action made even Obito hesitate, but he still sucked me into his Kamui dimension. Once I was sucked in, a hint of a smile appeared on Obito's face. I've severed the cycle of karma. Before the Geto statue in the Kamui dimension, I said with immense relief, "This aura, it's definitely the Geto statue. Looks like my gamble paid off." If the statue wasn't in his dimension and had been summoned away by Nagato, I truly would have despaired. In fact, I didn't get sucked in recklessly. Inside the time-space dimension, I really can't sense the flying thunder god marks outside. But the moment Obito activates Kamui, the dimension briefly connects to the outside world. My connection to the outside marks will return. When that happens, I can safely escape. I then looked at the Geto statue's chest. That protruding white humanoid figure. It had the exact same face as Konoha's Hokage monument. That's the artificial Hashirama clone Madara grew. Now, I just need to cut it off the statue. During this time, Obito cannot return to this dimension. Otherwise, all my efforts will be wasted. I'm counting on you, Orochimaru. Just 1 minute. Buy me that much time. Meanwhile, in the outside world, Orochimaru was lost in thought. What just happened wasn't part of the plan. After all, the flying thunder god marks cannot be sensed across dimensions. In other words, if Obito doesn't willingly release him, Shisui has no way of leaving that dimension. So him pushing me away at the end was likely a setup to counter Kamui by attacking from both inside and out. But that's still far too risky. Could something have happened to the Geto statue that forced Shisui to take such a gamble? Just then, Obito locked eyes with Orochimaru. He let me absorb him without a fight. Did he learn the truth of my abilities through White Zetsu? Is he trying to counter my phasing with an inside-out attack? Do you really think I'd let you succeed? This final minute of Izanagi ... should be put to good use. Time to head into the dimension and finish Shisui. With that, he manifested the Kamui vortex, intending to absorb himself. Right at that moment, a kunai pierced right through Obito's back, abruptly halting his dimensional leap. Itachi was seen casually strolling over. Obito's expression darkened at the sight, one after another, coming out to oppose me. Itachi Uchiha, do you wish to die here as well? Itachi's response was to instantly activate Susanoo. A fiery red Megatama ignited in Susanoo's hand. He spoke in a low voice, "Orochimaru, get out of there." Hearing this, Orochimaru quickly retreated from the area. Susanu's arm gathered power and hurled his Yasaka Magatama with full force. Obito emerged from the smoke. Itachi deactivated Susanoo and relentlessly unleashed Fire Style and Shuriken. Still under the effects of Izanagi, Obito let the attacks phase right through him. He couldn't help but sigh. My Izanagi time limit is almost up. I need to end this quickly. Itachi ... Give up, without any space-time ninjutsu. You can't possibly escape me. Itachi calmly backed away and pulled out a Flying Thunder God kunai. Watching Obito close in, he quickly formed a plan. His left eye hasn't completely closed yet. I'll use Amaterasu as a feint. As Itachi activated Amaterasu, blood trickled from his right eye. The charging Obito was ignited by black flames. As Izanagi triggered, his body vanished, instantly reappearing right in front of Itachi. Your struggles are futile. He charged at the cornered Itachi. In the exact moment Obito's left eye completely closed, Itachi threw his Flying Thunder God kunai. The instant the kunai phased through Obito's cheek, Obito's hand ruthlessly seized Itachi's throat. Then, a vortex erupted from his right eye, sucking Itachi in. Meanwhile, in the Kamui dimension, I had already arrived at the Gedo statue's chest and finished separating the Hashirama clone. The moment Kamui was activated outside, the Flying Thunder God mark closest to the vortex instantly appeared in my senses. I instantly warped to the kunai, grabbed it, and with lightning in my palm, I thrust it straight into Obito's back, completely interrupting his space-time ninjutsu. Obito revealed a look of disbelief. You learned the Flying Thunder God ... and were waiting for this very moment? I pulled my hand back. Obi2 ... This is reality. With that, I prepared to finish off the fallen Obito. Just then, a white Zetsu emerged from the ground beside him. I froze for a second when I saw him. It was Toby. He glared at me furiously. That's enough from you. I silently took a step back. Toby immediately enveloped Obito, stemming his massive blood loss. Obito's consciousness slightly recovered. Tobi ... Is that you? Toby answered him. Get to the Gedo statue. It can sustain your life. With Toby's help, Obito struggled to his feet. He stared at me intently. Shisui, I swear, if I survive this, your next encounter with me will be a nightmare. With that, he used Kamui, sucking himself and Toby away. Seeing this, I finally sighed in relief. Itachi hurried over to support me. Shisui, I asked, feigning ignorance. Itachi, what are you doing here? Itachi sighed helplessly. Why didn't you tell me you were doing something so reckless? I smiled at him. I knew your kind nature would reject everything I'm doing now. I figured I'd save myself the trouble. Itachi grew a little angry. That's completely different. If I knew you were going into danger, Shisui, did you think I'd just sit back and watch? Seeing this, I quickly apologized. Sorry for making you worrying. Orochimaru walked over. Shisui, Obito has absorbed the Gedo statue into the Kamui dimension. I nodded at him. I calculated everything, but I didn't expect Obito to be this cautious. That was a close call. But fortunately, I've obtained Hashirama's artificial body. Orochimaru's serpent eyes suddenly lit up. Then, I suddenly thought of something. Kabuto stepped out from the shadows. I'm right here. Lord Shisui. I glanced at Obito's blood on the ground. This blood might be useful. Orochimaru, collect it for me. By the way, Shisui-kun, when will we recover the Edo Tensei body? I stared ahead, my gaze somewhat unfocused. We'll talk about that later. Let's head back first. Orochimaru made a mental note. It seemed the frequent use of the Mangekyo's power was starting to take a toll on Shisui-kun's eyesight, judging by Obito's precedent. Hashirama's cells could almost indefinitely sustain a single eye's light, but for both eyes, it might not be a long-term solution. After returning to Ryugakure, I rested for a full day and night to recover. During this time, Orochimaru also established a new experimental base here. Now, I took out Hashirama's artificial body. Orochimaru couldn't help but marvel. I've never seen Hashirama cells of such perfect purity. Without a doubt, the Gedo statue has recreated the myth of the god of shinobi, I said very calmly. A myth can only be embodied in the living. Orochimaru, it's time to test the truth. Hearing this, Orochimaru put on a serious expression. I must state in advance, even if you undergo this genetic modification, Shisui-kun, the odds are heavily against you. So you'd better leave your final words. Beside us, Itachi clenched his fists tightly. He was about to speak, but I interrupted him. Itachi, if we're friends, don't stop me. This is my choice. The Naka River was like a second rebirth to me. I've truly enjoyed our time together. I know some of the things I've done lately have left a deep rift in your heart. But please believe me, I have my reasons. I hope one day, We can be truly honest with each other. Hearing these words, Itachi began to cry. Shisui. I comforted him. Don't cry. Itachi, you'll make this difficult for me. If I die, according to our prior agreement, Orochimaru will take both my eyes. When that happens, please don't stop him. Also, when that time comes, please, in the name of the High Carcage, lead the Uchiha toward a bright future. Hearing this, Itachi turned to Orochimaru. Orochimaru, if you and Kabuto dare play tricks on Shisui, the Uchiha won't let you off. Kabuto lowered his head in silence. Orochimaru, however, smiled at Itachi. Rest assured, Itachi-kun, when it comes to the truth, I am completely devoted. Seeing this, Itachi, left with incredibly mixed feelings. I took a deep breath. Let's begin. Orochimaru. I watched as Orochimaru took out the golden syringe he had prepared and injected me. Soon, my consciousness faded into darkness. Kabuto looked at the flatlining EKG monitor and secretly rejoiced. Shisui Uchiha's heart has stopped beating. Orochimaru calmly took out a pocket watch. This is to be expected. Recognizing a genetic invasion, all of Shisui-kun's life energy will be poured into the ensuing genetic war. This is a state of suspended animation. If he wakes up within 15 minutes before brain death occurs, it means he has survived. Otherwise, Shisui-kun will pass from suspended animation into actual death. But Kabuto looked at the gene mapping imager and said composedly, as expected, Lord Hashirama's genes are too powerful. It's almost entirely one-sided. Shisui's genes have no ability to resist. It seems the chance of genetic recombination has vanished. The final result, ultimately, between genetic destruction and replacement, it will most likely be genetic destruction. Hearing this, Orochimaru frowned. This was completely different from what he expected. Orochimaru turned his gaze to Hashirama's gene map. He made a shocking discovery. Hashirama's genome should consist of 67 segments, but on the gene map before him, there were actually 68 segments. Orochimaru revealed a shocked expression. To make such an amateur mistake, that artificial body isn't Hashirama Senju. It's a Geto clone carrying the Geto statue's genes. A Geto Hashirama Senju. But at this point, Orochimaru could only wait for the result. Even though hope was slim, he still hoped to witness the truth in me, and for a miracle to happen. Kabuto looked at Orochimaru with some concern. Lord Orochimaru, we've already done our best. We haven't wronged Shisui in any way, so you needn't blame yourself. Orochimaru shook his head in disappointment. Why would I blame myself? I don't care whether Shisui-kun lives or dies. I only regret failing to witness the miracle of truth. Kabuto pondered for a moment before speaking. Then, according to our prior agreement, let's retrieve Shisui's eyes. We should also leave this rundown village. Orochimaru walked up to me and reached out his hand. Shisui-kun, this is reality. I'll be taking the light. Suddenly, the gene imager beeped. My completely fractured gene map unexpectedly revealed a blurry colored segment. This left Kabuto completely shocked. A hidden genetic segment. Orochimaru's expression turned incredibly grave. No ... That is the genetic segment of the soul. Genetic expression. ... Manifests in the growth of flesh and consciousness. And the growth of the body and consciousness are stored as seeds within the soul fragments. The soul originates from genes, but transcends them. Lord Second's impure world reincarnation and my living corpse reincarnation were both developed based on this principle. After a person dies, that fragment automatically disappears from their genetic map. Kabuto broke out in a cold sweat upon hearing this. But how could the genetic fragment that should have disappeared with Shisui's death reappear? Orochimaru said thoughtfully. Perhaps it didn't reappear. Perhaps it was never there to begin with, and we just didn't realize it. Hearing this, Kabuto was filled with uncertainty and alarm. What, if that's true? Doesn't that mean Shisui is already dead? The soul inside Shisui's body ... Doesn't belong to him? Orochimaru nodded calmly. Yes, it wasn't until this moment ... that the genetic fragment of this brand new soul ... was truly written into his genes. Kabuto was utterly baffled by this. Then why ... does the genetic imaging device ... fail to clearly display his soul's genes? Are all soul genetic fragments like this? Orochimaru didn't answer his question. Instead, he suddenly burst into excited laughter. He thought to himself, perhaps that soul comes from a world unknown to me. This hypothesis, which even he found crazy, was something Orochimaru kept to himself. Then, Orochimaru waved Kabuto over. In short, the appearance of the soul genes means ... Shisu has struggled back from the brink of death. He must be taking the path of genetic replacement. Kabuto Prepare to stop Shisui's bleeding with your medical ninjutsu. Sure enough, a faint heartbeat appeared on the monitor. Hearing this, Kabuto stepped forward and cast his medical ninjutsu. Orochimaru couldn't help but marvel. Genes cannot dictate one's ultimate achievements, but they do determine the heights one can reach. In Shisui, I see infinite possibilities. Once he wakes up, the world will change. But Kabuto only saw an unprecedented crisis. If Shisui woke up, Lord Orochimaru would absolutely not escape the control of his Koto Amatsuki. No, I can never allow the Lord Orochimaru I respect to become someone else's accessory. Thinking this, he was about to kill me with his scalpel, but Orochimaru used the sword of Kusanagi to slice off the arm holding the scalpel. Kabuto revealed a look of disbelief. Lord Orochimaru. Orochimaru told him expressionlessly, "In Shisui, I have found a brand new truth. I won't allow you to ruin it." Hearing this, Kabuto aggrievedly explained, "But I did this. ... for your sake, Lord Orochimaru. Uchiha Shisui has the power of Koto Amatsuki. He held back against you before, because he could have lost that power at any moment. But things are different now. His Koto Amatsuki has been completely unsealed. He no longer has any reservations. You could lose your sense of self at any moment. If you lose your sense of self, how will you fulfill your pursuit of truth?" Orochimaru listened to his words, but remained entirely unmoved. "I desire to uncover all the truths of this world, but that doesn't mean I want to possess them. The illusion of self is a great taboo in seeking truth. Even I cannot completely conquer the self. If being controlled by Koto Amatsuki can break my obsession with the self, then that is exactly what I wish for." Kabuto stood frozen upon hearing this. He realized a heartbreaking reality. He had never truly understood this man. Orochimaru put away his sword of Kusanagi. "So I do not wish to see ... such a foolish act a second time." Kabuto silently picked up his severed arm. Then, he headed for the exit. Having a premonition, Orochimaru asked, "Are you leaving, Kabuto?" Kabuto couldn't help but sigh. "I can tell ... that Uchiha Shisui detests and guards against me. The reason he hasn't acted against me is because he still needs you for his goals. Now that his goal is achieved, once he wakes up, I will only have two choices. One is death. The other is submitting to Koto Amatsuki. Lord Orochimaru, are you really going to abandon me ... for Shisui's sake?" Orochimaru said nothing, but his silence explained everything. Kabuto felt nothing but desolation in his heart. "I understand. Lord Orochimaru, I once thought you were my sanctuary, but it seems I was just being delusional. I will spend the rest of my life respecting you, but at the same time, I will do whatever it takes ... to get my revenge on Uchiha Shisui. If you wish to stop me, then do it now. To die by your hands ... would be a fitting end for me." Orochimaru couldn't help but sigh at this. "Kabuto, just go." Hearing this, Kabuto bowed to him. "Very well, thank you for your care all this time." Orochimaru looked at Kabuto's retreating back with some melancholy. After Kabuto left, Itachi suddenly walked into the lab. "Oh, Rochima, are you ... Shisui? ... how is he?" Those words made Orochimaru forget his previous emotions and return to his fanatical pursuit of truth. "He has triggered a genetic miracle. He has become my most perfect masterpiece. I can only say ... he truly lives up to being the Uchiha's strongest genius. Just watch, within 10 years, his achievements will surpass Madara's. As for his future, it's truly limitless." Itachi hesitated for a moment before asking, "Just now, when I was outside, I vaguely heard your conversation with Kabuto. You mentioned something about soul genes. Can you tell me the details?" Orochimaru grew thoughtful. "I see. It seems Itachi doesn't know what happened to Shisui, much less that ... a different soul resides within his body. How truly fascinating." Smiling, Orochimaru replied, "My research is still limited to cells and genes. My knowledge of the soul is incomplete, so I cannot answer your question." Itachi instantly activated his 3-Tamo Sharingan. "I've heard ... that you developed ... a reincarnation jutsu to steal another's body. For you to say your knowledge is incomplete ... hardly seems convincing." Seeing this, Itachi deactivated his Sharingan. "Forget it, you are still Shisui's benefactor." Shisui obtained Hashirama Senju's power as he wished. The Uchiha clan's combat power has soared. Because of that, I won't be rude to you. I'll take over watching Shisui from here. Orochimaru had no objections. "Very well, I'd ask for nothing more." However, as Orochimaru walked past Itachi, he suddenly stopped. Itachi raised an eyebrow. Orochimaru couldn't help but sigh. "If this had been a month ago, passing by you like this ... I wouldn't have hesitated to attack you. But now, I have absolutely no desire to possess you." Hearing this, Itachi fell silent. Orochimaru gave him a meaningful look. As one's vision and perspective broaden, they constantly adjust their behavior. That is what we call growth. But if nothing else, you should at least thank Shisui. He is the reason the Uchiha clan was preserved. Otherwise, I can't even imagine how the Uchiha could retreat from Konoha unscathed, though they weren't entirely unscathed. At the very least, the militants pushing for war with Konoha have all perished. Itachi remained silent. After Orochimaru left, he slowly walked over to my side. He couldn't help but mutter to himself, "Shisui, you risked your very life to seek out a brighter future. But who is it all for? Where exactly does your ninja way lead? And where will you go from here?" A few days later, the political landscape of the ninja world had undergone a drastic shift. Upon Kumogakure receiving the Uchiha's rejection letter, the fourth Raikage slammed his desk and stood up. The Uchiha are nothing but stray dogs. They don't know what's good for them. We'll use this chance to wipe them out, then we'll seize that clan's eyes. Along with Takigakure's seven tails. Our next step will be to annex Konoha. Dodai. Darui. Lead 10,000 elite Shinobi ... and attack Takigakure. As for Konoha, just then, Dodai reported the latest intelligence. Regarding Konoha, Iwagakure's Onoki has already beaten us to it. Their pretext is that Konoha allowed the Uchiha to defect. Dragging Takigakure into a war to defend the interests of the ninja worlds. Smaller nations and villages. They are demanding an explanation from Konoha. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. That half-dead old man really is a sly fox. They're trying to avenge the Battle of Kanabi Bridge, and will use this chance to avenge the Battle of Kikyo Pass. It's an unspoken understanding between us. Now let's see who comes out on top. Meanwhile, I slowly regained consciousness, only to find Itachi guarding my side. I sat up and smiled at him. "Itachi, have you been here the whole time?" Itachi's eyes lit up. "You're finally awake. You were asleep for so long. I worried Orochimaru might try something. So I made him leave. Seeing you wake up safe and sound. Puts my mind at ease. How are you feeling?" I was deeply moved. "I feel that right now. I can better protect the Uchiha clan. And secure our place in the ninja world." My words completely eased Itachi's worries. "Then you should go see Orochimaru. He's probably growing impatient." I quickly grabbed his hand. "Itachi, once things settle down, let's build a ninja academy, so Sasuke can receive a proper education." Itachi smiled and nodded. "All right." I soon stepped outside the laboratory. Orochimaru waved at me. "Shisui-kun, you're finally awake." I gave a calm nod. "Thank you for the trouble, though I am a little sorry that you didn't get to claim my eyes." Orochimaru chuckled. "It doesn't matter. You have already shown me a landscape far beyond those eyes." I thought for a moment, then said to him, "Let's go. Let's find a secluded, open area." These words made Orochimaru feel slightly conflicted. Is he going to use Koto Amatsuki on me? We soon arrived at an empty wasteland. I turned to him eagerly. "I've acquired Hashirama Senju's power. There's a jutsu I want to test." With that, I clapped my hands together. Wood style. Deep forest emergence, but the ground remained bare. Nothing happened. Refusing to give up, I clapped my hands again. But still, nothing happened. I fell into deep thought. Didn't they say casting with style in Naruto just takes a hand clap? And whatever you shout appears? Do I need to shout it louder? Thinking this, I clapped my hands once more and yelled, "Wood Golem!" The wood golem did not appear. Instead, a single crow flew overhead, cawing noisily. Seeing this, Orochimaru covered his face and laughed. I looked at him suspiciously. "Oh, Rochima, are you ... Is this Hashirama body a fake?" Orochimaru shook his head helplessly. Wood style is a highly advanced ninjutsu. Without mastering its hand signs and practicing endlessly, you cannot use it. I gave him a look of disbelief. But I heard the first Hokage could use powerful wood style effortlessly. Orochimaru smiled and nodded. Of course, as proficiency increases, the number of hand signs can be reduced, or even omitted entirely. This is a long process. Even Lord First could only use it proficiently after adulthood. You already know this, Shisui. I saw you use Kakashi's Reikiri. Didn't you also use it effortlessly? I scratched my head in distress. My biggest problem right now is, I have no idea what the hand signs for wood style are. Even the Scroll of Seals doesn't contain a single word about it. Just then, I suddenly noticed White Zetsu spying from the shadows. I instantly activated my 3-Tomo Sharingan and used a Susanoo arm to grab him. Orochimaru looked surprised. He thought to himself, after gaining the Gato statue's genes, can he now sense white Zetsu? And unlike my sensory jutsu that requires hand signs, for Shisui, his perception is pure instinct. White Zetsu cursed loudly. Damn it, how could even you spot me? Using Susanoo, I carefully pinched white Zetsu and brought him to my eye level. You're just in time. I wanted to ask you about someone. White Zetsu looked terrified. I'm not telling you. That Obito is in his pocket dimension, healing his wounds with the Gato statue. I froze for a moment. You misunderstood. I wasn't going to ask about Obito. I wanted to ask about someone else. White Zetsu feigned composure. Why should I tell you? You're my enemy. I smiled at him. Come on, I mean no harm. Seeing this, White Zetsu felt incredibly confused. He clearly ruthlessly attacked our comrade. So why do I feel so drawn to him, damn it? I can't seem to refuse him. Sorry, Obito. Next time, I definitely won't tell him anything. Thinking this, White Zetsu nodded at me. Fine, ask away. I'll tell you whatever I know. This left Orochimaru utterly shocked. He didn't use Jinjutsu, yet White Zetsu is cooperating willingly. Is this also a power the statue's genes gave Shisui? After getting the information from White Zetsu, I brought him and Orochimaru to the Land of Fire, where Tenzo was located. He was currently facing a joint attack from Sho, Dashura, and Aoma. Seeing this, I instantly killed Dashura and Aoma. Sho immediately charged at me, but I cast Koto Amatsuki. The killing intent in Shu's eyes instantly turned into absolute worship. So it is Lord Uchiha Shisui. Last night, I received a revelation in my dreams that I would submit to you today. It truly is the will of heaven. Tenzo watched this scene, dumbfounded. At that moment, I walked up to Tenzo with White Zetsu and Orochimaru. Orochimaru waved at him. Long time no see. Should I call you Kino or Tenzo? Terrified, Tenzo immediately cast Wood Style, Great Forest Technique. I instantly memorized his movements with my Sharingan and neutralized his attack with my own Wood Style. Tenzo was taken aback. Why did my Wood Style lose its effect? Hearing this, I quickly formed hand signs and cast the Great Forest Technique. I just watched you cast it, and I learned it. Does this look right? Watching this, Tenzo muttered in a daze. Uchiha Shisui killed the Iwa Kunoichi, allies with Orochimaru, and uses my best Wood Style right in front of me. His Great Forest Technique doesn't just have bark, it even has branches and leaves. I must be dreaming. Orochimaru then walked up beside me. How does it feel using Wood Style for the first time, Shisui? I answered truthfully, nothing special. It feels like using my own arm. But this effortless feeling isn't bad. At the very least, I feel genuinely stronger. I then turned my gaze to Tenzo. Tenzo looked ready to accept death. Uchiha Shisui, just do it. As a leaf shinobi, I do not fear death. I found his reaction a bit strange, but I still said to him, Tenzo, please teach me Wood Style. Tenzo wondered if he was truly dreaming. Otherwise, why would he hear me say something like that? It wasn't until I repeated myself. I said, please teach me Wood Style ninjutsu. Tenzo found it completely absurd. Are you messing with me? Your Great Forest Technique already surpasses mine. It might even rival the first Hokage's. What could I possibly teach you? I shrug. To be honest, I just learned that Great Forest Technique on the spot. Aside from that, I don't know any Wood Style. Hearing this, Tenzo felt incredibly bitter. How ironic. I spent 10 years of hard work mastering Wood Style, and you surpassed me with zero effort. I casually offered him some comfort. But you know a lot more techniques? Although Tenzo's wounded pride felt slightly soothed, he still rejected me firmly. After he refused, I thought for a moment, then told him I could offer very generous compensation. Tenzo shook his head at me. It's not about compensation. It's about principles. It's a matter of stance. The Uchiha betrayed Konoha, and even attacked Takigakure on your own, giving Iwagakure an excuse, and putting Konoha in a passive position. Without a doubt, you are Konoha's enemy. Do you think I'd help an enemy achieve his ambitions? Hearing this, I raised an eyebrow. Konoha has no place for the Uchiha. I'm just leading the Uchiha to find a way to survive. I don't intend to target Konoha. But Tenzo remained completely stubborn. That's your own problem. It has nothing to do with me. Seeing that persuasion failed, I decided to threaten him. If you don't agree, I will control you with Jinjutsu, just like I control Itachi. Even though Itachi hears that he's being controlled, he doesn't see any problem with it. This is a revelation in a dream, and has nothing to do with Jinjutsu, even if it really is Jinjutsu making me submit. I sincerely thank this Jinjutsu for letting me witness Lord Uchiha Shisui's glory. Tenzo's heart sank at this. He immediately planned to kill himself. I looked at him. finding it somewhat amusing. If you die, I'll use Ito Tensei to revive you. Once I've extracted the value of your wood style, I'll control you to attack Konoha. This completely cut off Tenzo's way out. He couldn't help but sigh. I just have one question. Can I return to Konoha in the future? I smiled faintly. That depends on your willingness. ... to teach me everything you know. Tenzo said firmly. Every wood style jutsu, except the legendary sage art, I know them all. It's just that due to my chakra limits, I can't use many of them myself. Of course, I will spare no effort to teach you, in hopes of returning to Konoha soon. I only hope that you, Uchiha Shisui, as a ninja famous since youth, will keep your promise. I immediately used the Flying Ray Jin, taking Orochimaru and the others back to where we had just left. Tenzo was quite amazed. That really was the Flying Ray Jin. Where did you steal it from? I didn't answer his question, but instead placed a Flying Ray Jin mark on Tenzo's shoulder. Then, I looked at Orochimaru. Orochimaru, go get some rest. You haven't slept in a long time. Orochimaru tilted his head at me. I'm perfectly fine. I can hold on a bit longer, but I insisted on my previous words. Seeing this, Orochimaru shrugged and vanished from the spot. In the blink of an eye, 5 days passed. During this time, I learned most of Tenzo's wood-style jutsu. The date set in Kumogakure's war declaration was approaching. The movements of the Kumogakure army deeply concerned the Uchiha. Every night, the clan members would gather in Takigakure's plaza to discuss countermeasures. And this was the 5th day of my absence. People inevitably had their opinions. Are we retreating or fighting? Why hasn't Shisui given us an answer yet? Through Orochimaru, I had already obtained Hashirama Senju's complete power, and was intensely studying wood style. Other than Itachi and Izumi, even Fugaku didn't know about this. Having fully transferred his leadership, Fugaku said calmly, Shisui surely has his own plans. We don't need to worry too much. He has never let us down so far. Some clan members were very worried. That may be so, but the enemy is Kumogakure. Unlike Konoha led by the 3rd Hokage, they have a ruthless style, and possess both the 2 tails and 8 tails. There's no way we can match them. You should go ask Shisui, and see what his stance is. It would put everyone at ease. To this, Itachi chose to align his story with Fugaku. Shisui must have his reasons for doing this. The next day soon arrived. Kumogakure's army quickly reached outside Takigakure. Fugaku and Itachi led the Uchiha, along with the Takigakure forces, to the village entrance. Just then, I suddenly appeared before everyone. Seeing this, Itachi smiled in relief. You're finally here. I nodded at him, then said casually, all of you, step back. Everyone was greatly surprised. Shisui. I emphasized to them again. I said, step back. Seeing this, everyone had no choice but to retreat. Dodai and the Kumogakure army were also uncertain. Darui frowned. What kind of trick is he playing? Dodai assumed as a matter of course. Is he trying to imitate our 3rd Raikage, who faced an encirclement of 10,000 Iwa shinobi to cover his comrades' retreat? Commendable spirit. But he's overestimating himself. My gaze swept across the Kumogakure forces, and I directly unleashed wood-style, deep forest emergence. In no time at all, the opposing army was instantly slaughtered and swept away. This left the Uchiha and Takigakure forces completely astounded. I couldn't help but sigh. Itachi ... No wonder you hate war so much and yearn for peace. Where exactly will my light lead? It seems this is a proposition that needs continuous exploring. Soon, the news of the Kumogakure army's total annihilation reached A's ears. He closed his eyes in despair. This was simply the greatest and most despairing incident in Kumogakure's history. That was nearly half of Kumogakure's effective fighting force, wiped out just like that, using a wood style I somehow obtained. All completely killed. Meanwhile, Black Zetsu arrived at where Yagura was. After observing Yagura's various movements, he finally confirmed it and emerged from the wall. 4th Mizukage. Yagura, you really have broken free of his control. Hearing this, Yagura looked wary. His control, you know who was controlling me. Black Zetsu instantly used wood style to bind him. Yagura was shocked by this. This is wood style. Just who are you? Black Zetsu chuckled softly. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is the 3 tails inside you. I'll be taking it back. Hearing this, Yagura immediately began to struggle, but Black Zetsu forcefully extracted his tailed beast. Because of this, Yagura lost his life. Black Zetsu let out a sigh at the sight. Only by gathering all 9 tailed beasts can the 10 tails be revived. Only by becoming the divine tree's Jinchuriki. ... can the infinite Tsukuyomi be cast. But the only ones who can faithfully execute this mission ... are Madara and Obito. Shisui. That guy has become the biggest variable in the plan. I must speed things up. Obito is no longer of much use. 1 month later. During this time, Itachi and I annexed several small ninja villages. After some discussion, we decided to build the Hidden Light Village in the Land of Lightning. I then personally took a 10,000 signature petition. To visit the daimyo of the Land of Lightning. After hearing my one country to villages plan, the daimyo was a bit hesitant. Lord Shisui, this matter is of great importance. Please allow me to discuss it with my ministers. I cooperatively withdrew to let them talk. The daimyo then began discussing it with his advisors. However, as the discussion went on, the advisors began arguing fiercely over the plan. After hearing out both opposing and supporting sides, the daimyo looked at the silent Mitsuhide. Mitsuhide, what are your thoughts? Mitsuhide pondered for a moment before speaking. Shisui Uchiha's proposal is feasible. Not only is it feasible, it would be a monumental achievement. But I worry the Uchiha won't be easily controlled. The daimyo couldn't help but sigh. That is also my greatest concern. Mitsuhide thought for a moment. Perhaps your highness needn't worry about this. Whether the Uchiha are reliable or not. Can only be proven by time. Our most urgent matter is solving our lack of military strength. The daimyo nodded thoughtfully. So you mean? Mitsuhide replied earnestly. Accept Shisui Uchiha's proposal for now. Stabilize the situation first. To solve our urgent crisis. And this matter must be made public as soon as possible. Otherwise, if the Raikage finds out first, we'll be in an awkward position. Hearing this, the daimyo felt it made perfect sense. Given the circumstances, it's the only way. The daimyo then called me back in. Sorry to keep you waiting, Lord Shisui. I waved it off. What is your decision, Lord Daimyo? The daimyo smiled and replied, I've decided to accept your proposal. I gave a polite smile. That's wonderful. In the future, you will surely be glad for this wise decision. The daimyo replied courteously. To be honest, the Uchiha have had ties to the Land of Lightning for centuries. Your clan joining us today might just be the will of heaven. I wonder, Lord Shisui, what will you name the village you're establishing? I smiled slightly. Hidden Light Village. Hearing this, the daimyo was a bit confused. What is the meaning behind that name? I immediately improvised an answer. Where heavenly lightning echoes, light and shadow flow. Lightning and light are a perfect match. The daimyo praised my words repeatedly. Hidden Light Village is a brilliant name. Just then, Mitsuhide reminded him, Your Highness, we shouldn't delay. Please issue the appointment decree immediately. Otherwise, the Raikage might cause trouble. Hearing this, the daimyo wrote the decree right then and there. And handed it to me. Lord Shisui Uchiha, from this day forth, you are the High Carcage, equal in standing to the Raikage. I accepted the decree. Thank you, Your Highness. He had even considered A's hot temper, and handed me another decree. Lord High Carcage, this is another decree. Please deliver it to the Raikage personally. I opened the decree and read it. Fourth Raikage, Yatsukie, I have read your letter of apology. I pardon you of your crimes, and will increase Kumogakure's funding, to help your people recover. The Uchiha have entered the Land of Lightning by heavenly mandate. I hereby appoint Shisui Uchiha, as my personally chosen High Carcage. From this day forth, Kumogakure and Hikarigakure are brother villages. Like the left and right hands, or the palm and back of a hand. Do not let personal grudges ruin matters of state. Seeing this decree is like seeing me in person. I order you to reorganize Kumogakure immediately. After reading it, I bowed slightly. I then used Flying Thunder God to leave, and delivered the decree to Kumogakure. As for how I would react, what did that have to do with me? In the blink of an eye, a month passed. News of missing tailed beasts spread across the nations. I asked White Zetsu about it, but he claimed to know nothing. This instantly made me think of another entity, Kaguya's third son, the manifestation of her will, Black Zetsu. Had he started making his move? If so, things were going to be troublesome. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but sigh. Seeing this, White Zetsu asked, Why the sigh? Is it because of those tailed beasts? I asked him in response, Do you have any news on Obito or Black Zetsu? White Zetsu thought for a long moment before answering, I'm not too sure about Black Zetsu. We haven't seen him in a long time. He vanished without a trace. As for Obito, he just emerged from his dimension. But his injuries haven't improved. After all, you pierced right through his heart. Hearing this, I fell into deep thought. After a long while, I finally spoke. White Zetsu, could you help me find Black Zetsu? Just find out where he is. Don't let him spot you. White Zetsu agreed without hesitation. Don't worry, leave it to me. This is a very simple task. Meanwhile, at Black Zetsu's location. Black Zetsu looked at the tailed beasts he had restrained. Now, only the Seven Tails remains. Once I get my hands on the Seven Tails, reviving Mother will be just around the corner. So what if it's Koto Amatsuki? As long as I move fast enough, he won't be able to react in time. Right then, Obito arrived with Toby. Looking pale, Obito coughed. Black Zetsu, how is the situation? Black Zetsu gestured to him. We are only missing the Seven Tails. You should go retrieve it immediately. Otherwise, it'll be bad if Uchiha Shisui catches on. At that moment, Toby spoke up. But Obito's injuries haven't healed yet. In this condition, how can he possibly defeat Uchiha Shisui? Are you trying to get Obito killed? Black Zetsu waved him off. Of course, I wouldn't let Obito go alone. Why would you think that? Obito stayed silent for a long while before speaking. Let's make our move in the next 2 days. I'll take Toby and intercept Shisui's group. You go and capture the Seven Tails. 3 days passed in a flash. Obito did not wear his mask this time. In the end, he still implanted the eye he despised. He fought hard to intercept me for his so-called plan, but was killed by the combined efforts of me, Itachi, and Fugaku. In the distance, Toby watched this unfold. He fell into a deep silence. He sank into the ground and was never seen again. At that moment, Black Zetsu had captured the Seven Tails. He planned to fuse it into the Geto statue. White Zetsu immediately reported this to me and brought me to Black Zetsu's location. I directly grabbed Black Zetsu and used Koto Amatsuki to rewrite his will. Black Zetsu lost all desire to revive his mother. From then on, under my and Itachi's leadership, the Uchiha clan grew ever stronger.